So, I have a story. I have a mouse living in my car.
Oh.
In your car?
In my car. In one of the air filters, I believe. He's made himself a little nest in there. So, I took my car to the shop yesterday just to get like routine oil change, maintenance, whatever the fucking case may be. You know, in a typical fashion, I'm like somewhat waiting with fear and dread that they're going to say, yep, you need fucking everything changed. So, you know.
Listen, if you go to the oil change place and they tell you need everything changed, you just need to leave. Because most of those oil change techs are just people off the street. I mean, no offense to oil change techs, but they hire literally entry-level workers to do this work.
I always go to the dealership.
Yeah.
I pay a little more, but I trust them, I feel like.
So I go to this place down the street, and look, I think they used to be across the street from where they are. Speaking of which, I need somebody to take me up there after the show. Just drop me off so I can pick up my vehicle.
Okay. We can make that
I meant to ask that earlier.
I'll be leaving, so.
So anyway, right across the street, they had this like old rundown, you know, like it was built back when men were men. You know what I mean? And
it was built out of poles. Everything was around.
They moved across the street to this big ass lush joint. But ever since they got in this big ass lush joint, been a lot of shit going wrong with my car.
Really?
Yeah, like as if they needed to pay for that big ass lush joint. You know, and all of a sudden in both cars, a lot of shit been going wrong. So I don't know. I try not to be that guy, but sometimes I'm that guy.
You have a doppelganger in this neighborhood.
Do I really?
Yes. So, and I saw him today. So I'm pulling up right there, the light by that weird roundabout thing at the front.
Yeah.
And I see what appears to be your wife's vehicle.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I guess she's leaving out. She doesn't leave out this way normally. And then it was like, oh, it's Bobby driving. I'm like, what? I was so confused. Yeah. We were crossing it, and I was just staring. I had on my sunglasses, luckily, so that guy probably wasn't. I'm like, wait a minute. That has a light bar inside the windshield. That's not anybody I know, but I swear to God, it looked
this
just
week.
like
This week was my week to leave.
Okay.
So anyway, they called me yesterday and they're like, look, you know, oil change is this. We're going to replace this one filter. And also we found a small mouse nest in your such and such. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that too. And I was like, cool, you know, and then I was like, fucking, what's the fucking chances, right? But
how long has it been living
It's pretty
there?
common, actually.
Is it really?
Is it?
Yeah.
So it was in the Civic.
And it doesn't bother the vehicles?
I mean, it doesn't help anything. I remember I had squirrels and acorns are if they can get to like a spot under your hood. I remember I pulled no, like I had a. I don't remember. It was a vehicle I owned. I don't remember who was driving at the time, but yeah, took out the air filter thing, the cover, full of acorns.
Really?
Just to the brim.
So I say all that to say this. I mean, not only is that just my luck, but also Jana got a good ass joke off on that shit. She was like, that's because your car's so small. It's small enough where the mouse got in and was like, perfect size for me. It just.
Oh goodness! I was gonna ask you if you like got a little soft goods shirt for it, and did you name it? Name it Stuart?
Mickey. Mickey. Civic-y. Civic-y. But yeah,
fancy.
That's what's going on with me. Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how was your nerd week?
I gotta replace my washer. Just spend a G just now, this morning.
That shit. I hate spending money on shit like that.
I don't.
You
know.
love it?
No, but
Yes.
it's like the adult part of me. It's like, oh, it's home improvement. Like ever since I've been doing shit around the house or getting shit done, I didn't fucking do the floors. I got the floors done. Right. And like we've been painting and shit. Like I see it as like just a home improvement, better quality of life, better value to the house.
Right.
And like that. The last people did not take care of this fucking house.
No.
Preach.
Like, I don't know what they were doing. There's only the two of them, but like the house was filthy. Like,
was it really?
Yeah, like basic shit. Like if you're selling your house, right? You think you clean up as much as you can.
For sure.
Not these people.
Most realtors will come in and say,
correct. They usually bring in
you gotta clean this, or here's a card for my guy.
Yeah, and they usually bring in a cleaning company before somebody takes over.
Yeah, because they make the carpet all with a nice
you
triangle
know,
pattern and shit.
Why do those lines feel so good?
It's just like on the lawns, right?
Yeah, dude, but it's like it's something about it. As soon as you see it, you're like, oh man, I don't know whether to step on it or lay on it. You know what I mean? Like,
So this morning we tried to do laundry and the machine still works, but it won't because the door would not lock. So I was like, she was like, you want to just get something that works? I'm like, nah, man, just look for the good shit. And so yeah, just spend the fucking G this money.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, I'm glad that you enjoy it, but
I don't. I mean, it's 10 years old.
And
like,
did you replace the dryer too?
Not yet. The dryer works fine.
My wife would never. She would never just replace the washer.
Really?
Nope, because she would want that shit to match. It would be a big deal for her.
I would like it too, but I'm not spending 2 G's when I can just spend one.
So that's me talking,
right?
But she would be like, I can't look at that every day.
Oh, you just get a cover for it. You know? Cover it up and not use it.
Like
bring some primer.
Remember when I had the bird stuck in my microwave?
I got spray paint downstairs. Don't worry.
No. Call a friend, please. Don't let him do it.
He got a hand brush, the whole fucking thing, make it drippy.
He just pours the latex paint out on there and just moves it around with a brush.
It's like this fucking resin art. It's fine.
That's right. You're supposed to spin it, Bobby. Just spin it.
We'll turn the fucking machine on and then pour it. I don't know if y'all remember. There was a bird stuck inside my microwave, and I had to get a guy, and they found a whole nest in there, and the dead birds and shit, and then we just fucking threw out the whole microwave.
Sounds like a horror movie, but yeah,
it was awful.
Yeah,
it didn't smell. He was like, I don't know how it doesn't smell because it's dead birds in there, but.
You should have said it just smells like dead birds in my house already, so we didn't notice.
Yeah, it's one of those frog in a pot hot.
Yeah, dude. I know.
But you know, microwave has a vent that goes straight outside, and they moved in and farther in and got stuck because they're stupid. But when he was like nice, and he was just checking our other vents too. He was pulling out fistfuls of lint from the duct that went out the dryer.
Wow.
I was wondering. I thought the dryer was just old because I remember using to have to like run it twice to dry shit. But ever since then, it's been fine.
Well,
it's just that these people didn't fucking ever. You know the little filter thing that you pull out from the dryer?
Yes, yes, of course.
Apparently, they never.
Yeah,
they didn't know how that worked.
Strangely enough, I seem to be the only person in my house who understands how it works. I don't know if anybody else has that.
Yeah, I feel that way.
Like the dryer's not working. Well, let's look. Oh,
it's full. Of
there's a Sherpa pad.
Yeah. My wife used to be bad about it, but like I was that was another one of those things like surge protectors. Like just being raised in a firefighter household, it was like never piggyback surge protectors, never piggyback extension cords. Always fucking.
I need to rethink some things in my basement. Then.
Always clean out the dry filters, like little shit like that. Never leave a bathroom fan running. It was like another big one.
Ever since you told me that, I stopped running the fan.
Yeah, dude. But my dad was like, you'd be surprised, Bob, how many houses have burned to the fucking ground for people trying to alleviate the smell of their shit.
You want to hear a funny story about the smell of shit? So at some point in time, a hole got knocked in the duct from our fan in the basement bathroom. So if somebody took a shit in the basement, it literally just pumped it into the shop. But my wife fixed it, so now you can shit downstairs and not have to worry about crop dusting whoever's working.
I'm getting ready to lay a ground rule in my house.
I thought you were going to fix that.
I'm getting ready to lay a shit. I'm getting ready to take it right this second. Lord. No, I'm getting ready to make a ground rule for the house that no family is allowed to shit in the middle floor.
What?
Because like that's the most frequently used bathroom, right?
I mean, the one by the front door?
Yeah, it's the most convenient. It's right there.
Correct. So like I'm tired of going in there and smelling other people's shit.
So you want it to be your own private bathroom?
No. I want take a piss. Take a piss in there piss away. But don't shit in there where everybody's going to have to go in and smell your shit.
Middle of the house.
Right next to the kitchen where everybody's getting ready to eat and have to smell your shit.
Right where people's coming in the front door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally in the middle of the whole entire house. It's the center of the house.
We're not short. This is not a flex, but we're not short on bathrooms.
4.5?
Correct. We're not short on them. There's plenty at your disposal.
There's 4 bathrooms.
4.5, yeah.
Wow, I had no idea there was
one, and then 3 upstairs.
There's 3 upstairs.
Yep.
Wow.
It's because of the garage.
Wow. Yeah, the frog room, finished room over garage.
Big house, long hallways. Got 4.5 bathrooms.
Itty bitty little yard.
But don't shit in the one upstairs all day.
That's a fancy one.
Yeah, man. Just don't shit in.
It's like the fucking throw pillows people don't use. It's to look at.
Just be courteous.
Just remember, if you see Joe's picture in that bathroom, don't shit in there.
You know that picture.
Every time I see it, I'm like, damn, Joe.
You know what's funny is that so for those listening, in my main hallway bathroom, there's this picture of this Asian woman smoking a cigarette, right over top of the toilet.
There's a picture.
How did they get down so low to the angle to take the picture while she's squatting, smoking a cigarette?
I don't know. But listen, so it's one of those. It's like a Rorschach test. People, in my opinion, it says a lot more about them than it does about the painting. Like because I've always whenever I go in there and I make eye contact with her, I always feel like she's looking like what are you doing? Like what are you doing later on? You know? And I'm like look, it's just a painting. My brother was like, why you got that Asian woman in there judging and laughing at me?
Oh shit! I didn't think that, but wow, it is what you see,
Bobby. I knew you and I were kindred spirits once I discovered we had our bathroom art similarity. Whereas you have Lionel Richie, in yours,
it's what makes a house a home.
It is, and I have Pee Wee Herman doing this Pee Wee Herman face with his hands up while looking at you taking it, because you can only see it if you sit down on the toilet.
So I also want the other picture that I want in there is that picture of Michael Jackson with E.T. Have you ever seen that one? It's fucked up.
Have.
I'll bring it up, but you continue, Joe, with your nerd week. But I'll bring that shit up.
But that's my house story. But we're still sleeping in the first floor because we still fucking more and more shit. Like as you do shit, you do more shit. It's like, oh, we can paint this room. Oh, we can paint the ceiling. Oh, we can move the shit around. Oh yeah, that's horrifying. That's fucking horrifying. It's like it's like E.T. telling Michael, "Let's go home."
Yeah.
How did y'all get bubbles in this costume?
Just search Michael and E.T. and you're welcome.
And it also breaks the illusion of the stereotype of like women are the one who knows how to take care of the house, since like you both are just like, yeah, I know how to take care of the dryer and the wives don't. And also like the last person who owned this house was a lady and her daughter, and I think that's the only people that live there. And none of these motherfuckers know how to fucking empty a dryer.
Yeah. But to be fair, my wife is responsible for the overwhelming majority of responsibilities around here.
Listen,
but you got the dryer.
Same here. But anytime I go to use the dryer, I always have to clean the lint. So I always it's like, hey guys, I just making sure everybody knows that there's a lint trap. Just sarcastically at this point. Yeah,
no, I know. I get you. I usually don't even say much about it. There's like a number of things that I do around the house that I never get credit for, which is fine because I don't need credit for it. But I don't even bring it when they're like, could you do a little bit more? I'm like, well, okay, look. Have you ever noticed that the sink is actually not magical? That like when you wash something in there and you leave it in there to dry, that it won't just go away by itself? They do. They end up all going away. Or if you let it soak, it doesn't just wash itself.
That's my move.
It doesn't just wash itself and dry itself off and go back. Like, I'm the one that's doing all that. I just don't make a point to say anything about it. Like sometimes we have that. And I say that to say this. My wife does the overwhelming majority of housework.
Yeah.
But I don't get credit for much because I don't talk about what I do.
Right. I hear you. So, since being super hyped about Matrix 4 coming out, and the trailer started on movie nights doing Matrix. So did Matrix 1 last week, Matrix 2 last night. Fucking love them. I fucking love the series. I love the world. We're gonna do Matrix 3 next week, and then we're gonna do Animatrix after that, and then Johnny Mnemonic after that.
And, isn't it a video game too? You're supposed to play. Is that still?
You don't have I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No. The Matrix Online. I played it.
It's not online anymore. So.
No, long time ago.
I bet you there's some remnants of something. I bet somebody's still hosting a server with something.
Yeah, private server. People run old games.
It's just the green letters now,
bro.
That's fine.
Meta. But like that story was canon at the time. Like they were like, this game story is canon to the universe.
I remember that being the thing. It was like Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters had a video game that was supposed to be canon to the story.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago or recently?
Yeah, Fast and Furious, same thing. There's a game. It's canon. It's
even more lore
to the lore. To the lore, yeah.
I mean, you can do anything you want with a decent story. You know what I
mean? Sure.
What I noticed was great product placement in The Matrix 1.
Okay.
And the fact that it was not obvious, but it was. So I noticed them holding a battery up, and I knew it was Energizer, but the Energizer wasn't showing front. It was in the back. And it was opening the package. I know it's FedEx because the colors and the shape, it doesn't say FedEx. And I think that's smart.
So I would go out on a limb and say that wasn't product placement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of times when because like a lot of times when they do shit like that, where it's like a Coke can, it's clear as day it's a Coke can, but Coca-Cola, you can't, like, it's like just the red part is showing with like you see a little bit of the white lettering on the side.
Yeah.
It means that they couldn't get the sponsorship for it or the advertising deal for it, so they just they turned it so that they don't show the brand. Okay. So that the person, as you're watching it, you recognize that's a battery. You know what a battery looks like. It hits instantly for you.
Well, battery's either going to be black and gold or
silver
and gold.
Or it can be green and silver if you got it from a TV remote that came from the factory.
Sure, yes,
that's true. But anyway, so it's possible it could be that too, that they went for it, shot it both ways, and didn't get it.
I think this is a smarter way because, like, to advertise something that already has brand recognition, like it hit me. Like, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you're selling me something.
Right. No, I agree with you, but I think the advertisers feel differently.
Because I mean, that's free advertisement for them. Then that's
correct.
Better for them.
Correct.
Because like I feel like a lot of time in TV shows, they just have fake brands.
A lot of the time on TV, they do.
So like they could have had a battery. Battery looks like a battery. It can be any color. They could have a pitch black battery or an envelope that is just plain white.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of times it all depends on like taking a gamble on shit, right? Because like if you're gonna do Back to the Future 3. Yeah, I'd like to get my Coca-Cola in that, please. But if you're going to do Indiana Jones 1, be like, what is it, archaeologists fighting Nazis? Let's see how it pans out.
that sounds crazy when you put it that way.
It definitely
I have not heard of it put it that way before.
I know in the movie Friday, when Craig goes to pour the empty milk carton in, it is a Carnation milk carton, but they've taken a Sharpie and changed a couple letters so it doesn't say Carnation. I'm going to speed a little bit to something that was in my nerd week, but it ties in perfectly to this whole conversation. Kelly and I watched Total Recall last night.
Oh, which one?
Colin Farrell, the original one. And I'm not sure.
It's great.
I'm not sure I've ever seen all of it,
really?
to be honest. Yeah. The movie itself is it's it's almost worth watching for comedy's sake at this point. It's so like over the top and like the
80s, man.
It's
good times.
A product of its time.
So the movie starts. You're on Earth. There's Coca-Cola, billboards, and everything very prominently. There's other brands in there, like remember Curtis Mathis TVs?
I do not
know.
Yeah, it was like one of the last American brands
in
TV.
Alabama.
Yeah, no, I can't say I ever owned one. So you know the story. This story that they go to. So it's Coca-Cola. Everything you see, they go to Mars. First thing you see, Pepsi sign. And there's several other Pepsi product placements, but only when they're on Mars.
That's fucking interesting.
Yeah,
I never noticed that.
But that's a pretty big pull to get both of those in the same movie.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy. I just like that. 2 weeks.
That scene's great.
I mean that graphics hold up.
Was Michael Ironsides a bad guy in every other movie in the 80s and 90s?
Yes.
I mean he was Michael Ironside. Which one?
He wasn't like he was the
business guy,
like
right?
the hitman kind of guy in Total Recall. He wasn't the president of Mars or whatever. But the
that's
guy
what I'm
underneath
thinking
him.
of.
Yeah, the
he
guy
was in a lot
underneath
too.
him.
He's
Yeah,
a fuck ton too.
Yeah,
that's a bad guy.
Watched Malignant.
I watched it too.
Really?
Yes.
Was that the one with Angelina Jolie, the Disney princess movie?
No.
That's
Maleficent.
Close enough.
Kind of Malignant.
Close enough.
In a way. I mean, I know a lot of people shat on it. Right? A lot of people didn't like it. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
I don't even know what it's. Is a horror?
It's a horror type movie. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what people were expecting. Maybe they were expecting something else because like he did all the Conjuring shit.
Yeah, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
This one just didn't hit with me for whatever reason. Like,
did you hate it? Did you?
I didn't
strongly dislike it because a lot of people didn't like it. It's not rated very well.
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but I will never watch it again. And I would have rather watched something else in hindsight. Okay. But I didn't hate it.
I wouldn't watch it again, but I enjoyed the first watch, and I thought it was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for people because it's still new. I'd like to know what more people think because like I did the podcast with Dante and Phil, and they didn't like it.
No, yeah, I didn't care for it either.
So was it just not horror enough for horror fans and too horror for non-horror fans? Is that kind of?
I was never. I think for horror, for me, like I need to feel unsettled. Like I need to feel like that's what I'm in it for.
He needs demons,
not necessarily, or ghosts,
spirits, the spookies,
floating spirits.
So spooky.
That's from my nerd week. I watched Disney's Robin Hood this past week. It still holds up. It's without a doubt the best fucking Disney movie ever made. But that they put in that bowl of fireflies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Prince John is like, ooh, floating spirits. But yeah, I wasn't unsettled in this. I was just watching a movie about some freaky shit going on, but I was never like, I never felt uncomfortable. I
didn't think it was horror. I wasn't uncomfortable either. It was more mystery to me.
Yeah.
Which, I also enjoy. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was cool.
You win.
And from that, we watched Annabelle Creations and Annabelle.
I can't keep all them shit straight. I want to say I've seen them all.
And The Nun.
Is that all the
Nun's
same?
The only one I haven't liked.
Is that all the same universe?
Yes.
Yeah, with Conjuring. And apparently La Llorona is not my Sharona.
My Llorona?
My La Llorona. Dude, I can't Spanish, man. Do you know what I'm talking about? The fucking lady that takes kids?
La Chupacabra?
El Chupacabra.
Either way.
Angela Yates?
Fair is fair, bro. Wow. Sweet.
Dude, God bless the dead.
Dude.
Oh, sorry.
Jeffrey, you talking about Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend?
God. But I enjoyed them. I think that's a cool universe. I think it's pretty. Yeah, it's nice. It's a comprehensive universe. Like it's a whole bunch of fucking movies.
Yeah, the only one I haven't liked was The Nun. That's the only one I didn't like. And you know what I think the key was for me with that movie? You know, in the very beginning, they show her locking her up in that cell in that tower. Mm-hmm. That's where that movie should have ended for me. No, and that's not to say that I think it should have been a 5-minute movie. I think it should have been the whole story that got her to that point.
Yeah, I want to know.
Correct.
Like, I want to know that shit.
Correct.
Because, like, by the time I was old enough, we can talk about it. Because, like, they find out, you know.
Spoiler alert.
They all been dead all along, and all the nuns are fucking gone. But, like, I'm like, how?
Yeah, that's the story that I want to hear.
Like, why did they go get the key? Like, I guess there's the last two people left.
And the nun is super freaky in the other movies.
Yeah. Well, the nun is pretty freaky in this movie, too. But, like.
It just doesn't, I don't know. It seemed like a high class slasher movie more so to me. I feel like than like the supernatural ghost like shit that I like. Like a highbrow.
Grindhouse Films presents
like the target of slasher films.
And they never did explain. Like, you know, apparently she was locked down there, and then they went to fucking open the door and like. Right. I want to know that story with all the nun praying, and then all fucking.
That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That. Maybe there'll be another one. Who the fuck knows?
Dude, we can always hope. Keep hope alive.
But I also don't like when, like, people in horror movies do dumb things.
Oh, then you don't like horror movies.
That's not...
I'm kidding. I know.
Yeah,
it's a familiar trope.
A lot of it is, right?
Like, I don't watch horror movies, and I know people do stupid things in horror movies.
But, like, in the nun, like, the priest and the nun in training, like, are completely unreasonable in their actions. It's like... Don't leave an evil place they've established to be. Doesn't call for backup. Doesn't let anybody fucking know. Just hangs out and get fucked on.
Yeah.
At least like with the Annabelle, the kids are like they're fucking kids. Kids don't know any better.
Yeah, like I think that they did a really good job. Like those folks, like the Conjuring movies are great. The Annabelle movies are great, and it's just that one that bothers me. The Nun movie.
I mean,
none your business.
None your business.
None my business.
I was sitting here trying to figure out a good way to work the nun in, but I might shop it for a bit.
Bobby,
I did this one, but you know, Jaina tries to get me every once in a while. She's like, "Why is 6 afraid of 7?" And I'm like, 7, 8, 9. And I'm like, "Do you know why 7, 8, 9?" And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because it likes to have 3 squared meals a day."
Oh boy,
that's pretty good though. It's math. Like coming from Bobby, that's just like off the wall.
I like hate the whole premise of that show.
There was a new Conjuring that came out this year. Apparently, I didn't know that.
Oh, I haven't seen it then. I can't say I like them all.
I want to see that and the Homecoming is on our list for the next thing to watch.
I feel like I need to go back and watch them all in some sort of chronological order.
There
they're all sporadic for me. I don't have a timeline, a clear timeline in my head of them.
We looked it up. That's why we started. Like Annabelle Creations is actually like the first one.
Yeah, because they find a doll in the basement of The Conjuring, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be about it. Until I think of something else to jump in. Oh, I watched the Arnold. I didn't get to go this year, but
we both had an Arnold reference.
Exactly. That's why I lit up when you talking about Total Recall. Yeah, but the show I usually go to every year, the convention. They moved it to this past week. Usually it's in the spring, which is fucked up because in 2 weeks the Olympia is on. So these people, a lot of people are choosing to compete at Arnold, and then in 2 weeks
compete again.
Olympia.
What's that? That's a brutal.
That is
2
fucking
weeks
ridiculous.
to keep that, because normally when you get into something like that, you're just like
you're dying. You're on stage. They'll stop. Like
you're like a dry sponge, right?
Yeah,
that's lubed up somehow.
There's been like what is it? Ugh.
It's a sponge. It's dry, but it's wet.
How long do you guys let your sponges go in the sink before you throw it out?
I don't really.
When the scrubby isn't scrubby anymore. The scrubby part.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm, in a moment of clarity, like a transparency, I let that bitch go far too long before I toss it out. It's only when I consistently notice an odor that I'm like,
oh, come on, that's too far.
I know.
They're like
it becomes chunky. It's not spongy.
If I can't share things here safely, I'm gonna stop. All right,
Joe. We know what to get him for Christmas.
Dude, a fucking industrial sized package of sponges.
We'll go to Costco. They got $6 off Skechers. I saw on the flyer there. So
I didn't even tell y'all the worst part. The time where I can notice it consistently, I'm like, all right. After I get this batch clean.
Oh no!
Do you have reserve under the sink? Are there? Oh god, damn it!
It's just
so Joe. Every other time we're over here, we just need to throw away the sponge,
dude. Because that thing is just like mashed potato in your hands at some point.
What if you treated your Today sponge like that? You're not sponge worthy,
dude. I mean, like talk about cheap. I had a friend who cut his sponges in half.
Oh, I've seen people do that.
Right?
I've seen people do that.
Yeah, like you're still using it, bro. You're still using it the same amount.
Now you're just working twice as hard to cover this fucking surface area, and you're overusing the one piece.
Exactly.
We're all insane. That's all.
I'm sorry. Back to
the Arnold. Yeah. So it's crazy that I hope they move it back because like that's not healthy. Like I said, like 15 to 20 bodybuilders has died like in the past decade or so doing bodybuilding.
I remember the Mad TV sketch where that dude, was it Will Sasso that did
the Arnold? Yeah.
And he was like, they were like, nothing scares Arnold, and then he like turned around, he's like, numbers scare me like spiders.
Oh man,
he wouldn't have gotten that 3 square joke.
No, he would not have.
But my favorite part now is not what it used to be. Like I used to like the bodybuilding part the best, like the biggest dudes. But now like they have a new category, which is
banana eating.
Why did that come to your head when you think about muscly, oiled up dudes?
That's
a new thing.
It's the eye contact. That's the banana contest. Is you have to maintain eye contact the whole time.
But they have a classics physiques division, which like is much more aesthetic to me. It looks like Arnold back in the day, because Arnold, people don't remember, doesn't look like the bodybuilders now.
No, not at all.
He looked great. Like there was a different.
He had a lot more mass, right?
Like he wasn't. He was just more. They looked better. He had better proportions.
Looking, yeah.
He was more human looking. He was jacked.
He looked like a superhero.
But exactly. But like if you look at bodybuilders nowadays, they look like muscle, like just piles of muscles.
Listen,
like something popped.
We get Kevlar. They get armor piercing. I mean,
exactly.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it becomes too far, so they have the new division, because like these people like they look like they're wearing an inner tube of muscle around their gut. It doesn't look good. So like I like the aesthetic of bodybuilding. It's like bodybuilding, not just like get big
and cut.
To me, it's like sculpting something artistic. Yeah. But the ladies division, I don't care about the bikini part. Like that's not good. Like
no,
you don't
no.
But
actually, you put some sweats on.
The fitness category.
You look cold.
The fitness category is goddamn amazing.
Yeah, the girls that do the ladies rather that do the fitness stuff. I mean that. I'm much more attracted, visually to the way they look than full on bodybuilding, like
Yes.
you're talking about.
And also now, recently, I don't know if you have, I don't know, but like in the fitness division, there's always been, the posing, and then there's a routine, almost like a gymnastics thing type routine, or like a dance, whatever you want to do. It's like a talent show. So now it's like
But
2/3 of the
did the men do that?
No.
One juggles.
2/3 of the score now is from the routine, and the routine is fucking phenomenal.
Really?
Like I would suggest people, it's free. Like the Arnold, you can just Google it. They streamed it for free this year on HD. So like just
Nice.
look up women's fitness routines, and you see like
Maybe I'll get some ideas.
just
Things to do in
and
those quiet
just to
times.
remember that they're like at the bottom of a cut, like barely fucking eating to survive, and then fucking doing flips and shit on stage. It's crazy.
I had apples and coffee the past 3 days.
But yeah, anyway, that was my week.
Chris, do you want to go, or would you like to close it?
Oh, you can go ahead and go. That's fine.
I don't have much. I'm watching this show on HBO. It's fantastic, but I might stop watching it.
That's a weird name for a show.
No, it's called Scenes from a Marriage.
So I saw that on there, and I'm going to be honest, it kind of gave me anxiety to think about watching it.
So it's so it might be the best acting that I've seen in a long time, and it's basically a 2-part play. It's Oscar Isaac, and I don't know the lady who's in it. I don't know her.
Poe Dameron.
Yeah, and she.
It's a good guess.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. That's Poe Dameron. Yeah. And was he also
Apocalypse?
That's weird as fuck, isn't
Right?
it?
Right?
Well, my favorite role of his is in Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's great in that too.
He's great.
But I'll tell you,
With Hux.
Yeah.
it's some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life.
What is
Like-
it about?
So it's
Drama?
it's a married couple. They have one kid. It's definitely a drama. One day, it's like the most fucking horrifying thing to me. Like,
And that's why I didn't want to watch
and
it.
that's why I might stop watching it, because it makes me upset watching it. But one day, wife just comes home and says, "I've fallen in love with somebody else. I'm out."
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, and like it's watching the fallout from that, the back and forth conversation wise with that. She comes back. Spoilers. She comes back, and it seems like she might be interested in getting back with, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Bro, yeah.
That's giving me anxiety
I
thinking
know.
about it.
I don't have kids, but
it's fucking awesome and awful at the same time. It's awful because of how well done it is, if that makes sense.
But Bobby, if you had personally been through something like that, do you think you would be, from a romantic standpoint, do you think you would be as interested to watch that?
I don't know.
I have been in something.
I mean, I've been through some heartbreaking situations that aren't that bad, but nearly, and I think that's why I didn't want to.
But like, I actually want something I wanted to ask you for a while, because I think about it sometimes, and I never remember to write it down. It's like, have you ever really had your heart broken in your life?
Dude, I had that exact thought about,
Bobby, right?
like, you talking about romantic?
Romantically, yeah.
It's hard to
Because I know you've had other relationships other than Laura, but like, have you really been hurt by a lady?
Yes. Yes.
Someone clip that, please. Have you been hurt by a lady? Yes.
Call Robert. Have you been hurt by a lady? Call Robert D.
It's a new film coming out. It's called Darlene's Revenge. That's a deep pull nerve rage, because that's a bitch I backhoe kicked in the head in taekwondo. She waited and plotted for 30 years. No. So yeah. I mean, it sounds petty now. It's not something that I would like normally discuss, because it sounds, at 40, it sounds petty.
But at the time.
But at the time, I was fucking devastated. I was 15 years old. I was dating this girl. Shoshana was her name. Beautiful girl. She was a Costa Rican is what she was, and just jet black hair. She was gorgeous, and I was she was super into music. Like I was into her, and I took her to the world, which was like the place that we hung out for the nerve rage listeners.
I thought it was like Aladdin.
Yeah, I showed her the world. I did.
Took her over, sideways, and under.
And she was going to babysit, and it was actually a weird dynamic. Like she had she was from Alaska.
Costa Rican from Alaska.
I'm familiar.
But she
You see any Costa Rican when you were there?
But she lived with a white family in where we grew up, and they were like her. It was like her aunt's house, but an aunt that had married into her family, but had since divorced and remarried.
That's complicated.
Yeah, it was complicated. Anyway, I was super into her. Her blowjobs were trash, and I like trash. And I mean,
at 15,
no. I had some prior and post at 15, and this it's the worst to date. But it was if she listened to country music, she'd be listening to Teeth Urban, if you know what I mean.
Oh my God.
Oh man, what time did it happen? Was it
2:30?
That's what I was for sure.
But it was one of those where, like, I don't know if you've ever had one of these, but it was one of those where, like, at the end of it, I was like, never again. Until the next time.
Until the next time, right?
But anyway, she was babysitting somebody's kids. It was like a part-time job that she had, and I would be on the phone with her, and I kept hearing like commotion, and like I would hear commotion, then she would get off the phone, and then I wouldn't hear anything, and she wouldn't call me back for a long time. And it turns out like a buddy of mine was going over there and fucking her.
A buddy of yours, damn.
Yeah, and then like it all came out. And like I was crushed. I was crushed on both ends. Yeah. So to speak. And yeah, like I don't think I forgave either one of them, like, ever. I
wouldn't.
And that was like
until the next time.
So yeah, until the next time. But what's funny is that like I was sitting next. Just serendipitously, I was sitting next to this girl Maria in geometry class. And I had actually dated her. I mean, but I'd gone out with her, so to speak, a couple years prior, and she knew that I was upset over this. Like I wasn't myself. Like I'm usually a pretty like jovial person to be around, but I wasn't myself for weeks and weeks and weeks, and she knew that Laura was into me, and then basically got Laura and I talking.
That worked out.
Yeah,
everything happens for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When it does, anyway.
So if you can have your little 15-year-old heart broken, that would have been the closest I've gotten to it.
I mean, that you can't like people just have to put their mind into that age. And everything was serious. At 15, everything was fucking serious.
And I saw both Transformers and Episode 9 in the theater. That'd be up there too for broken heart. But
I don't remember you talking about this. So this is a new
that's a new
deep lore of Bobby.
It's funny, man. Every now and then I'll be thinking, like, in the car, I'll be like, man, I've never gone down that lane before. Like, like I got to dust the cobwebs off of it, and because some of those stories and different aspects of my life are pretty interesting and entertaining. But
yeah, I've been cheated on before, but never with some like a friend, because that's like the ultimate. It's like when your brother or your fucking best friend's fucking your girl.
So to make it even worse, this dude, his name was Jeremy.
Typical.
Yeah.
Jeremy?
He's a Puerto Rican dude. And I
it's
actually,
a Rican part that got them together.
And I had actually dated his sister, also prior to, like,
but legitly though.
Yeah, legit. Like we went together. Like, but like. Long story short on that, but a couple months prior, we got involved with some beef due to him, and like it was dangerous. Like it almost got a lot of us hurt, and it almost got people on the other side of it very hurt, and it was all for him, And like it's one of those things where like that rabbit hole of like how my life could have taken a bunch of wild turns over this dude who eventually fucked my girl, like it's crazy. But yeah,
that's interesting. I enjoy like knowing more about my friends.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to recover. I think, I was super. I mean, I am like I'm a jealous person in general.
No, yeah, me too.
And I think that like, like we've talked like conversations, like shit that goes on, like that you can handle.
Right.
Like I have to applaud you for it because I like. High noon, I'm coming for everybody.
Well, you're not like you used to be, right? I remember you saying when you were young, like you would be more controlling even as a jealous person.
Yep. I don't know if I'm not that way still. To it, you know what I mean? Like I don't know because the circumstances don't really arise, right? But like, if Laura was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start hanging out at the bar with my friend, every Friday we're gonna go to the bar," I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think it would last. Not our relationship. I don't think her going to the bar with her friend I don't think that would last. Because I wouldn't do it to her either. Do you know what I mean?
Right. It's a mutual respect thing at that point. It's just like you think about what the other person. It's like for me, I used to be a jealous person. I used to be a controlling person in other relationships, even at the beginning of a relationship with Krista. But like at some point, I decided it's like like my jealousy and insecurity is on my part and has something to do with her. So like I decided to never tell her to do anything ever again. And I would just tell her my preferences. I'm like, and if you choose to do it, I wouldn't be mad over it. And it's worked out so far.
See, it's weird because like this is a deep dive conversation, but like I trust my wife.
Yeah.
But I don't even want my wife to put herself in a position where I have to react. And like the problem is with me is it's also it's a matter of trusting myself. Like I don't trust myself. So like if she goes to some bar and some dude does something stupid, I'm not going to be able to live until I sort it out. Like
yeah, I mean that
I won't be able to breathe. Like, I get so fucking angry that like I'm like I'm so much better now than when I was like in my early 20s, but like I don't want to even be put in that situation because like I mean some of you guys have even seen like it come up a little bit where I'm like the guy at the parking lot where I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah.
Like I will black out on you. Like it's like something switches in me. I don't think about consequences. I don't think about the future. I don't think about any of the ramifications of my actions.
Immediately that
all
moment.
I think about is taking care of this fucking problem now by any means.
Yep.
And it's not fucking healthy. But like,
it's good of you to recognize and just stay away from that situation.
Well, yeah. So like that for me is like a big deal, because there have been like I don't even like if she's at the supermarket, like she has like a tattoo on her back with my name on it, right? And like dudes come up all the time, like Bobby's still around, or how's Bobby doing? Bobby's still cool with Bobby, shit like that. She tells me, and I want to go. I'm like, let's go. I want to go now. I want to go now to the fucking grocery store now. And they're like it was 45 minutes ago. Like unless it's a really long grocery trip. He's long gone. I told him Bobby's definitely still around, and there's no room for any other names on the tattoo. It's this very small little bar, It's over.
Yeah, so I used to get
I'm so wrapped up, and I'll be sick like for hours, like that I can't exert that energy somewhere.
You go to the gym, bro.
But I do. I mean, I go to the gym.
That's true. You do. Yeah. No, I mean, I used to be that extreme, but nowadays I'm just like, yeah, people hit on people. It's fine. It's like like as long as this doesn't cross the line, which it doesn't usually. 99.9% of the time in real life, shit doesn't cross the line.
It doesn't. People just say dumb shit.
And also, like,
and
if
people shoot their shot. There's other, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Sure.
Like, and as long as your lady can handle herself, which Laura can and Krista can,
In my emotionally sober mind, I agree 100%.
But
when it happens to me, I'm not me anymore. That's the only way I know how to describe it. I'm not myself.
I just want to try something out, Bobby. Longing, rusted, furnace, daybreak, 17, benign, 9, homecoming, 1, freight car.
I'm still me.
Okay. I was making sure you didn't have some sort of deep-rooted...
What if it wasn't? You put us in real danger here, bro. What the fuck were you thinking?
I mean, I can flip a detoff over and run, so, and I know the back way out.
But yeah.
I'll go in my little house. Yeah. He can't get in there.
There you go.
I can, but it's really awkward. You'd have plenty of time to prepare.
What, the dog crate?
Yeah, no.
Under the stairs,
under
cubby
the
hole.
stairs,
Oh,
in the
yeah,
little
yeah,
cubby
yeah,
hole.
yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine that is related to that. I would imagine that's related to my mother. You know what I mean? I would imagine that all those things are interconnected in people betraying me.
Yeah.
Or people thinking that they can disrespect me. Because I think that's what it ultimately is that I'm upset that you even had the fucking gall Like that's
even though when they don't know
even
any
though they
better.
have no idea who I am, what I am, like they have no fucking clue. In my mind, I'm like the audacity. Like, do you know what I will fucking do for less? Like what I have been capable of doing for less. You know, like, and I think the same personality, the character flaw is also why comments piss me off. Because I'll be like, it's the disrespect. It's like I can't let you do this to my name.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't tell you why it's in there, but it is deep rooted. I can shave it. I can shave it down, but I can't pluck that motherfucker out. You know what I mean?
Well,
No, I understand, and I relate. Like, I just luckily got out of that in my late 20s, early 30s.
You know, like
I used to be the same way, but then I just detached myself. I'm like, these are all fucking strangers I have no connection to, and then they just became not human to me, and I can ignore them.
You know, it happened at at TFCon over a guy. He was confrontational. But he put his finger on me.
No,
and then I was, don't fucking touch me. Like, and then
that's crossing the line. He shouldn't touch you.
And then at that point, I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not and to be fair, like I don't in the multiverse, the Marvel What If, Eric B doesn't step in that night. I don't know what happens.
Right.
You know, because I don't think about my mistakes until after I've already made them. You know.
Right.
I haven't had anyone put their hand on me, so I can't say how I would react for a long time now.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, me either.
No, I don't get
fucked with very often.
You're a large human being.
And what's funny to me is that like there's still like this little voice in my head that
says I can knock that motherfucker out right now.
And
honestly, that's something I think about.
That says to me that like if I see the 7 foot tall Sasquatch walk in, I'm like
sizing me up.
Wonder how I fare. Mm-hmm. You know, like,
and I just wonder how many people have that thought process.
Yeah, like it's like it clicks in. Like I can't describe why or how, but it's like it's there. Like, you know, it'll be like knees balls. Like, you know, like you know, like that's what goes like. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
survival instinct.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we before?
If you had your heart broken.
Yeah, before that though. How did we get to Broken Heart?
I don't know.
The show that you were watching.
Oh yeah.
About heartbreak.
Yes. So anyway, if you have any sort of emotional stability, I strongly recommend it.
All right. That's fair.
It won't take you down a dark mental road.
Yeah. So here's another thing I wanted to bring up. Maybe a deep dive. I'm not sure. Where would you say your love for what you do in some regard lies? Like, do you love your job? Do you love what you do? Do you love any aspect about it?
I like
do you love the scientific aspect about it at all?
Yeah,
do you
but that's not my job. Well, it's hard. It's hard, right? Like what my job is supposed to be versus what I do versus.
I'd imagine your job is a lot of inventory management,
people management, inventory management, paperwork management, just a lot of bureaucratic and administrative shit and stress and customer service, but which is not like a lot. Most of those things aren't really what my job technically would entitle.
Right.
What my job would technically entitle would be something I would enjoy more. Mm-hmm. But yes, the science and shit behind biochemistry I love, but that's just the background of my job and not my actual job.
Well, and I think a lot of the time. You know, it'd be a meme. The job you go to school for, the job you actually are doing. You know.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about what I do. The job I have now is the best job I've ever had and the best company I think I've ever worked for. There are some changes happening, which I've talked to you guys about within my company, which I think is going to be a positive for me.
Well, I'll say from listening to you, I get the impression that you enjoy the hustle of a sale.
I do. I'm a salesman at heart. Like, and I listen to I've been listening to a sales book. It's pretty old.
Are you being first, your last?
It's not that. I don't remember the name of it. But,
hell, or second, third.
But some of the truths they were telling in there, it was very telling. And there's some concepts in there. I think once we can really start, going out and hustling, trying to make those sales again. I want to try to maybe a new strategy, and it's fun to try to, in sales, you basically have to, you're selling yourself, and then you're selling the product for the company and trying to
know
meet
who
the
you're
needs
selling
of the
to,
customer.
right?
Exactly. So,
have you ever put on some boots, some tight jeans, big belt buckle, and a cowboy hat to go sell stuff?
not that exactly, no, because
but you know what I mean.
Just to be
man, listen.
I assume
The Chris,
wear the local team or something,
right? I
you know what I mean?
right?
Like,
You're a good salesman.
the Chris they get in West Virginia is different than the Chris they get in New York City.
Exactly.
I mean, you suit your customer. You figure out.
You have to be an adaptive person.
But-
to
God,
do
it would
that.
never work for
Read
me.
the room.
room.
I go to some fucking Texas shop and I'm like, howdy, partners.
Yeah, but you never know. Like I was having a conversation with this guy with this super heavy New York accent that we ended up talking about NASCAR for an hour because he loves NASCAR. So, you tailor your presentation however you want to say that to your customer base.
You probably have to have a breadth of knowledge. Just be a jack of all trades. Know a little bit about every topic so we can have a conversation about anything.
I guess I'm asking this because do you ever think about missing what you do when you're not doing it anymore?
Like your job?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, this job I have now is I've always managed people prior to this job I have. Like since I was, I don't know, right out of high school
in the film industry.
In the grocery business even before then. I've always
soda industry.
That's just a hobby. So like the first time the quarter rolled over and I'm like, I don't have to do review. I kind of missed that, and I think a lot of it is I cut down my interaction pool severely from all these people. Whether I hated talking to them or not, it was still interaction. So I miss that aspect of it to an extent. But then again, I don't have to write 17 performance reviews out every quarter. I just have to write my own.
So I know a guy in mopping that's he's getting ready to retire after 33 years. I think 32, 33, something like that. And
That's got to hurt mopping all the years.
There's a lot of mopping. And I was in this break room. It's a big break room. And it was early in the morning and not all the lights were on. And nobody knew I was in there. Mm-hmm. And I just got to be a fly on the wall for a bit.
A creeper.
Just got to be a fly on the wall for a bit. And people were coming in and they were having conversations and I was eavesdropping on all their conversations. And none of it was incriminating.
I know, but I guess it's great.
But it was fun.
True people watching.
It was good fun. And he was in there with 3 or 4 of his peers, all older people, and but not retiring old. Mm-hmm. And they had a nice little 5-8 minute conversation, did a little reminiscing, a little well, it was good to see you, man, and good luck to you if I don't see you before you go, and blah, blah, blah. And then they disappeared. They walked out of the room and went on about their day. And this dude was left in there by himself. And I just watched him. And he was sad as fuck.
That it was over.
Damn.
And I took a picture of it.
Damn.
Because of just how fucking and he's just looking at the door.
How long
does he have till he leaves?
Tomorrow's his last day.
Wow.
Man.
And you could just tell that he was fuck. What am I going to do?
I mean, I think you gotta have a plan for that. I think you
for
gotta
sure.
When you've made your job your life, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
sometimes it's important for your job to be your life in some regard, it depends on what, you know what I mean?
What you do. Yeah.
Our company's had a ton of guys, retire over the past 2-3 years, and I haven't talked to any of them. Not a single one, and I don't know how many. So it's almost like that. When he gets, is he gonna call up? Hey, guy, if you don't have that commonality, and you're losing that commonality to say, well, guess what happened to me today? It's.
So I've been fucking with him a little bit about it.
Tell me, be honest. Did you, while you're sitting there in the stealth mode and no one notices you, did you pretend to be Batman?
No, I don't. But I did it at one point. I was like, maybe I should put my hood on. But then I was like, no, my head is already nondescript enough. But anyway, so I've been fucking with him. Every time I see him, I'd be like, damn, dude. People stop drinking coffee maybe around 10 a.m. But I'll be like, man, probably the last cup of coffee you're gonna have on a,
fucked up, dude.
That's fucked, dude.
I'm like, dude,
we're crying about that later.
We just, we just worked Friday or whatever, and I was like, dude, last Friday, that was your last Friday, man. That was your last.
Should have watched last Friday as a.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I was. So then I got to talk to him like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, well, I'm going to Florida. He's going,
God. Retire, go to Florida.
Correct. And he was like,
Oh, he's moving to Florida.
yeah. And he was like,
of course.
and he was like,
Put on pasture.
I'm thinking about. It's what all Northeastern people do. And he's like, I'm thinking about working at an airport, part time or whatever, and all this shit. And I was like, what are you gonna do about the depression though? God, dude. Which has been good fun. But like, it was a little bit of an insight for me to see of like. It was like I was looking in the future of like a future life challenge.
I don't think
I
it'd be
don't
like
know
that for
because
you, though, man.
like you have friends outside of work.
Yeah, no. Don't get it confused. Not that I'm gonna be, but like I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. So like just to see like that and be like, man, one day you're gonna prepare yourself because one day you're gonna have to walk away from it all, and and it was just interesting that way.
Yeah.
So as I said, I watched Disney's Robin Hood. It's fucking fantastic, dude. Prince John is funny as fuck. That entire fucking movie. You slithery snake. And the fact that when Little John called him PJ, he's like, PJ, I like that. Dude, I can watch that shit. That shit's so fucking good. It like stands the test of time. I'm watching it with my kids. Something like Selena's never seen it.
Oh, really? Still, I'm surprised.
Yeah, Selena's never seen it. I think my wife often falls asleep on it. Like, but we all, the baby's never seen it. Everybody was watching it. Everybody was laughing at like the appropriate parts and like going like, oh no, like when something bad was happening, or like when he sneaks into Prince John's room and he's getting all the money out of the room and he gets that one affirmation, they're like laughing. Like it was a fucking really like I don't know. I valued it an awful lot. Like it was just like a very like nice, wholesome little family.
Do you have fond memories of watching it as a child?
Yeah, for sure.
Wore out that big VHS and the white clam show?
Nah, I'm not.
That started cracking. Or did you have it recorded off TV?
100% recorded off TV. And then my dad would put the sticker thing through the typewriter and type the name on it and put the counters like 0865 to 0938.
That's why
that's crazy.
That's why you are the way you are.
Yeah, 100%.
Because your dad used a typewriter on the damn VHSs.
With a timestamp.
I used to joke that my dad had R and L written on the inside of his socks. Like I used to clown him about all of that, like that, like, because like one time we had this conversation, and he's not wrong, but he was saying like socks have a memory. So like if you're constantly wearing one on the same foot, it is gonna go out that way. But I knew what he was saying, but I couldn't let him get that off. So I was just like saying like you're fucking out of your mind.
I've got socks that say Eleanor on them.
Do you really?
Like,
well, they came that way.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he put like a magic marker on it inside, like a Crayola.
Stencil it.
And then finished What If, watched all of that.
Yeah, I'm up to speed on that as well.
So I liked the Ultron episode a lot. Like
the one with Thor?
No.
Okay.
So I hate that one.
I wasn't crazy about it.
So the one with Thor is like, what if Thor was an only child? Spoilers, he's just Thor from Thor 3 with no villain.
Thor from Thor 3.
A bumbling fucking idiot.
He literally comes to Earth to party and breaks a bunch of shit. And invites and has every cameo you can imagine.
Yeah. So I hated that. That's my least favorite so far.
Yeah, I might be with you on that.
But the one where Ultron wins, he becomes Vision. He destroys Earth, basically, destroys the threat. He's in the process of it. Thanos shows up with 5 out of the 6 stones or whatever. Ultron takes one, looks at him, cuts him in half, takes all the stones, and becomes like the Infinity Gauntlet powered like fucking Ultron. That shit was fucking great.
I might have missed that one now that I think about it.
Oh, that's the most recent one.
Is it the last one?
Wait a minute. No, I thought the Thor one was last.
So yeah, I guess maybe.
I guess I missed something then.
So yeah, so spoilers.
That was the last episode of the series?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but because in the trailer they show all of these what if characters kind of rallied up like the Avengers in the first movie. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you just said you watched all of it. I thought that meant like the whole series.
No, I'm just. It may be. It may be. I
sounds like going to end on.
Yes, but it was kind of on a cliffhanger of sorts.
I'm perturbed that I missed that.
But kind of all of them are on cliffhangers. You know what I mean? Because it's just like
what
the universe could. Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what happens after.
And then what else did I watch? I watched the first Star Wars Visions, the anime.
Mm-hmm. Hate it.
But
of course,
no, it's
awful.
Not good. Yeah, it's not good. But the animation was really interesting.
I think all the episodes are going to be different too, right? They're all
Yes, I
different
believe
studios.
so. Yes. It was really, and to be fair, because Chris watched 3 and we were talking about it briefly before you got here. He said that mine was the weakest of the 3, in his opinion.
So you hate the other ones less, but still hate them.
Well, time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, just to speak on that, we had mentioned before we started here that like I heard nothing. I didn't even know this had released.
And they dropped it all.
They dropped all 9 or whatever of them. Have you watched any of them?
It's
yet?
not episodic. Like they just, it's a dump.
Right.
It's
good. I mean, I was.
And one of them is
I knew it dropped. I knew when it was coming because like I'm excited to see it, even though I haven't seen it yet. But I didn't know it was going to be all at the same time.
No, me neither.
I will say the one thing that I don't want to say it bothered me by any means, but I was hoping this is all just like original content that wasn't necessarily tied to something, but like Boba Fett's in one of the episodes. I'm like, why?
Because he's everywhere.
Because he's helmeted.
I guess they did get what's his name to do the voice at least. So,
but it was, but the animation was interesting of this episode. Like I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. But I don't know that I haven't either. It was like it seems somewhat familiar, but very foreign at the same time.
What is anime?
But it doesn't look like any anime I've ever seen.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, because anime is one big category, and people have a certain image of what anime is, but there is a range. It's just like comic book art,
for sure,
right? So, yeah.
for sure. But so there's like a Vampire Hunter D look, and then like the kind of like big eye kind of stereotypical anime look, and I get all that, but just like the style, it was almost like this was done in pencil.
Yeah.
It was just unique to me.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing it.
But yeah, the story was empty and soulless and just fights and flair.
Sounds great.
But the animation looked great and interesting. Not just great, but it was like it was a new experience for me to have seen
visual,
something. Yeah,
like, stimuli.
And I saw and then I think that was it. I watched the Whitney Houston doc. It's on Showtime. Fucking amazing. Strong recommend. It like just the way that like they manipulated her, man, to make her like the safe pop artist for like stay-at-home moms to listen to while they vacuum the floor. You know,
my mom loves Whitney Houston.
My mom too.
I think all moms do.
Meanwhile, she's like from the fucking projects in Newark, and like all of her family's strung out and fucked up. And
like we didn't know that.
Nope.
Like she
there
was popular?
no evidence of any of that ever, and they show like
until she cracked out.
Well, yeah, exactly.
At that time, though, I mean, you really would have to. It isn't like you could just Google her name.
Yes,
right. But I mean,
more protected.
There was no rumors or nothing.
Like even like the way that she presented herself on screen and stuff, it was just like they showed like she went on like the Apollo to perform, and they booed her.
Yeah,
because like it was like the black community at the time was like, you're not one of us, like you're one of them, and get the fuck out of here with
but
that
they
shit.
didn't know.
But they didn't know.
Yeah,
because and like so like it's sad. It was really like kind of sad to see like and it's Clive Davis, and there's a whole discussion to be had about that at another time. But like, just it was marketing, and it was brilliantly done and obviously super successful. But it was also fairly tragic and damaging, at the same time, unbeknownst to any really of the parties involved. Like, even Whitney was like, I'm good with this. Like, the songs are good and I enjoy them, and but it was just pretty tragic in return. So I watched that. I watched a lot of like Michael Jackson stuff because we did a Michael Jackson show, and I wanted to kind of brush up on some of that. So there was a lot of like little tidbits and shit in there that like for instance, like everybody's seen that picture of him like with all those Crips.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the backstory to that, just a little teaser for Bobby Boogie Bop, is that like the video for The Way You Make Me Feel, where it starts off with those guys hitting on that girl, and then he ends up like kind of like chasing her around and being problematic, I guess.
Yes.
I don't fucking know, but like better her than a little kid, you know what I mean? So like, so like and by the way, he was innocent in all that shit too, by the way. But anyway, he like when he's chasing around, those guys are all sort of like sanctioned Crips, all of them. So like that's a picture that he took with them, like on set of that video. The guy that directed it was doing it on Skid Row, and was able to contact these guys and ask if they wanted to be in the fucking.
That they had
ability to pull that off safely.
It's so funny the world works because I saw a meme, I think yesterday, it was who's harder or something, and it was that picture, and there's a picture of Drake with some gangsters too. But Drake looks like very concerned about it.
And Mike's throwing up like a C.
Yeah.
I feel like Mike is just out of touch.
Yeah, he was just innocent, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't know.
So naive.
He doesn't know to be worried.
Yeah, exactly. Well. So what's funny is
I gotta see too.
So what's funny is they said that like
a Cookie Monster.
See some cookies, get that for me.
See, it's for cookies.
Cookies are sometimes snack. That's when they made Cookie Monster healthy.
Yes.
So anyway,
which is bullshit because he's an addict
for sure. But they said that. They said that like at one point those guys got like a little rowdy and like kind of hooting and hollering and like laughing and like like kind of like being loud and it started making Michael uncomfortable. So he like went over to the director and he was like, "Hey, let's get a little rambunctious over there." And the director said, "Hey, shut the fuck up!" And they all shut up because they all wanted to be on the video and stuff. And the director who they interviewed also, he was like, and there was like 10,000 cops like right on the other side of the street, because it was Skid Row and they had to lock it down. And so anyway, it was like little fun facts about his career were pretty fascinating. And that's it. Laura brought up something that like I don't know if we want to do now, but like when we got into that nostalgia conversation, I was talking about it with her and trying to talk about it a bit more, and she said perhaps that there are 3 types of nostalgia. That there's an emotional nostalgia, you happen to catch it at the right age, but it's just good nostalgia, and an aesthetic nostalgia. But we're still kicking that idea around, and when I get something finalized and blueprinted, I'm going to bring it back to the table to kind of talk about.
Get your 3 jokers worked out there. And we'll figure it out.
Chris, how was your nerd weeks?
Oh man!
Oh, and congratulations on you guys both being grown adults and putting the beef to the side again.
Yeah, we're vegetarians, so put the beef down.
If they can do it on Mythbusters, we can do it on the show. It's all business.
That's right.
It's all business.
That's right. Man, fun couple weeks. The first note I had, actually, you told me to put in my notes, Punk versus Danielson. So where did that come from?
Yeah.
Did someone send that to you?
Yeah, a question. It was, what do you think of that? What did you think of Punk versus Danielson? It's a wrestling thing, I imagine.
So they're both wrestlers, and they both recently signed with AEW.
Okay.
And I don't know if the question is, what's my opinion on both of those men?
Yeah, because it was in the show that like
one of the ones I missed.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I love them both. Punk obviously he's back after being gone for years, 7 years out of professional wrestling. He's changed his style. He's working a little slower. A lot of people are upset about that. I'm like, it's old. A 42-year-old man. I mean, he's telling great stories in the ring. He's just not like going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Right.
Daniel Bryan
telling great stories. You hear the instant.
I know.
Oh, dude. Oh man, the lingo. I'm fucking dancing under the table.
Man,
telling stories in the ring.
That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
Interpretive dance.
Mm-hmm. So Daniel Bryan was this man's name in WWE with the yes chants and everything. Probably not on y'all's radar at all.
No.
He was Bryan.
I know Danielson from Karate Kid.
Luke Bryan.
Danielson. No, it's not Danielson. It's Danielson.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. Right.
So Bryan Danielson was trained by Shawn Michaels. You guys have heard Shawn Michaels, right? Heartbreak Kid.
Yep.
Half of DX. Yep. Anyways,
it's a porn star too, isn't it?
He used to wear a vest and
chaps.
Yep, chaps.
Yeah, he did. For sure.
But not in the porn.
For sure. Well, he was in Playgirl.
Oh yeah.
He actually was in Playgirl. Yeah.
Did you have that as a memorabilia?
I didn't. No, I was actually not.
Have you guys ever seen a Playgirl?
I have.
Are the dicks hard in it?
No.
I don't remember.
No, I don't. They're like what I remember.
It's such a weird concept to just have a guy lounging around with a limp dick for no reason, like on a pillow.
I'd say it's like
looking like a fucking doof with his socks on.
I'd say it's 2/3.
Oh,
I mean, it's
they give you the gambit.
It's not pointing anywhere, but listen, Bobby. It's like they blow up the floats for the Macy's parade before they stand them up.
Send a few to Joe's inbox so I can take, or his PO box so I can take.
All right, Shawn Michaels, chaps. Shawn Michaels trained Bryan Danielson is his name. He was in Ring of Honor before he was in WWE, and he was the American Dragon. Bryan Danielson. Amazing wrestler. I actually got to see him wrestle.
Is he Asian?
Honor. No.
Okay.
But
I know. I had.
Well, he.
I know. It's just funny to hear. Is he Asian?
No.
This is you want some too old man? No.
That's right. Boy, get your ass in this car. I don't know you come down here messing with these people. Michael Clark Duncan's in that scene, by the way. If you never knew that, he's rolling dice with Debo.
Oh, that's
And
right.
he says,
That is right.
Wow.
That is
Michael
right.
Clark
That
Duncan.
is right.
Yeah. Bryan Danielson's AEW. I'll just roll right into this. I went to New York City last week.
He's wearing
work.
a New York AEW shirt right now, ladies and gentlemen.
This was a
Big facts.
This was a show exclusive shirt. That's only
You were wearing a show. Did you buy a second one to
I
help?
didn't.
Like,
I won the rock run that won the stock. No, I didn't do that.
bro, it's collector's
Never heard of that.
item.
That's a sneaker,
Bro. Like I
It is a
have a
collectible
Skullface tank top that I don't wear.
right?
Dude, keep it minty.
So shout out to Jose over on Verbally Challenged and with me on Enter the Realm on Mondays and Breaking the Mold on Tuesdays, and he's everywhere.
He is.
Jose's and Hurricane B Flex. I've renamed him because he's been working on his fitness.
He's looking,
he's
bro.
doing great.
If you're listening,
great.
you're looking great, bro.
Yeah. So he was able to get tickets for this show. I think I sent you guys a picture. It was at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is a tennis stadium. I'd never been in a tennis stadium to start with.
I didn't know they make tennis stadiums.
Well,
either.
this is where they do the U.S. Open. It's at that facility in Queens. There's 4 or 5 huge venues there, but this Arthur Ashe, it's a stadium, but it's got a cover roof or whatever. I guess it's retractable.
Okay.
Fancy.
It's a little bit like, I don't know how to describe it. The way it's set up is a little bit different than like going to a concert at Royal Farms or something. It's the way it was laid out. You seem to be more on top of everything, but the seats weren't super tight. It was still tight for me. It was
always tight for you,
It was
bro.
Correct.
right. This is true. That's what she said.
A year.
It was a vaccine event. You had to show proof of vaccine to get in.
Wow.
So they were checking everybody. We had to have your ID and your card, or if you live in New York City, you can get something. I think it's the Excelsior Pass. Believe it or not.
Wow.
It's like a QR code that takes you to wherever.
Hell
you
yeah.
go.
I'm going to get a waxed ID, if you know what I'm saying.
It says COVID-19 chillaxation. So it was crowded. There was 20,000 people in there. Wow. The merch line was bananas. Like it was, 3 stories. So I went up to we were on the third elevator, escalator, and I hopped in the line. It was nowhere near as long. They sold $200,000 worth of merchandise at that show, and they didn't have a ton of stuff. They had like 6 different shirts. And, they had hats and backpacks and things like that.
I can't even move the fucking headmaster's blanket at TFCon. Ain't that a bitch?
But I will say, it was 5 hours of wrestling. They did an hour. They recorded a show beforehand. That is one of their YouTube shows. Then they were live for 2 hours on TNT. And then they recorded their Friday night show, which is normally an hour. They did 2 hours, and they recorded that. And, man, that was by far... I wouldn't say by far, but it's the best wrestling live event I've ever been to. It was amazing. The energy, and I think part of it is I hadn't heard that in so long. Like the roar of the crowd.
The
roar of the crowd. The live show opened on literally a dream match: Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. They did 30 minutes, and it ended in a time limit draw, which it's an old school wrestling gimmick. But they needed to protect these guys, from win-loss career-wise. And, well, what happens? Nobody won. We're going to have to do this again and again and again.
Yeah.
I think that may have been – no, that was the best wrestling match I've ever seen live. It was amazing.
Well, I mean, that's awesome.
It was a great – the whole
and for it to be the
great.
one to come back after COVID.
Oh, my
and
gosh,
all that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
all those factors playing in is probably fantastic.
Yeah. So it was a great experience, and I thank Jose for securing those for us, and his cousin that Jose dabbled in professional wrestling like I did.
No
I don't know
shit.
if you knew that, and his cousin did as well. And his cousin was there with.
No way, Jose.
Yeah. Actually,
Is he getting that chip to get a comeback?
Actually, that guy there's a wrestler named No Way Jose.
I believe it.
I don't know. I've been like, man, you're in the best shape of your life. You might
make
as
a
well
comeback, bro.
go take some bumps, right? Take some responsible bumps. Let me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
let me hit the. So to answer the question, I love Punk and I love Danielson for different reasons. If I'm going to watch one of them wrestle, it's probably going to be Danielson.
Equal but different, like we try with women in the workforce.
Or like your kids. You love them equally but different.
That's right. So the 15th was Kelly and I's 15th wedding anniversary. So
Congratulations.
the plan was we'd try to figure out a trip to take. I was like, you know what? We'll go to dinner.
Okay.
So we went and ate sushi at a place in Westminster. It was really, really good. And she's like, we have somewhere else to go. Let's go check out something. She's being very vague. And I was like, okay, what did you do? What did you do? My lovely wife, and this is crazy just to say out loud,
took you to a styrofoam making company.
I got to blow foam, Bobby. No, she rented out an entire movie theater. Whoa. For her and I to watch The Iron Giant together in the theater.
That is fucking amazing.
That's
Bro,
awesome.
It was great.
That is a fucking move.
She doesn't get me often like surprises, but she pulled this off, and I will give her her flowers for sure.
That is fucking
yeah. That was a big move. So that just like caught me so off guard. I'm like, wow. I didn't even get her a card, but we normally don't do cards.
Cards are dumb.
It's like
unless you make them.
You know what?
Unless you fucking make them,
we used to. Kelly and I used to go to Walmart. Like, hey, pick out your anniversary card.
They don't have to be,
and we just exchange them in the.
You know, I've gotten
99.9% of the time they are.
I've gotten 2 cards from my wife that like I carry with me, like I carry it, like they're in my backpack at all times, just so if I'm ever having a case of the blues, I can read it and it makes me feel like $1 million. You know, like. But I agree that they are often just meaningless.
Yes,
but but they don't have to be.
No, they don't have, and they shouldn't be. It's
agreed.
Yeah,
it's just not good that they become meaningless.
So she definitely gets the brownie points for that. That was great.
Laura, take notes. Deep throat is what I want to say.
Well, I honestly figured you'd say, "Oh, that kind of theater," but it wasn't.
I've never been to one of those, and it is a regret of mine.
Really?
Because I don't think they're around anymore.
And I'm sure that you can find one in New York, probably Baltimore.
No, I don't think there used to be one in Baltimore, off of Bel Air Road, but I don't think it's there anymore. But I'll Google it.
We'll take a class trip.
I watched Tombstone.
Classic.
Oh. Hadn't seen it in a
I'll
long
be
time.
Huckleberry.
It was great. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means pallbearer.
Oh.
So
I don't think that's actually true.
You don't think it's true?
No.
You've heard that before?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
it was like a thing that went around virally recently, but then somebody ended up looking into it, and it ended up possibly not being the case.
Well,
but it's whatever. I feel like you just went out.
I feel like I've gone out.
Oh, that's me. Shit.
Oh, that's
there you go.
Yeah, did you touch the board, Bobby?
No, I didn't.
I'm all scratchy.
There you go.
There it is. Okay.
Check. We're all good.
So Tombstone, great movie. All the way around.
Dude. Is that Val Kilmer's best performance?
It is. There's no doubt.
Not Batman?
No.
Get out.
Not Batman, not Top Gun.
Take all your
The Saint?
Take all your little monsters.
No, definitely not the Saint. Definitely not the Saint.
What else was he in?
The Doors.
Yes.
Yeah, he was pretty good in that.
Yeah, for sure.
He was convincing in that.
He's been in some great roles. Island of Dr. Moreau. He was in. He's been in some great shit. But I just feel like Top Gun.
The Ghost in the Darkness.
But
is that the name of the movie?
Yes,
with the
yes,
lions.
with the lions.
That
he was in that too. But
dude,
but I feel like man, that fucking Doc Hollywood.
That's great.
Like,
yeah.
It's Doc who?
Holiday.
Holiday. I'm thinking of the Michael J. Fox film.
You got McFly in the brain over there since we messed with Marty before the show.
Yeah.
You guys, do you know what you call people who aren't vaccinated and won't wear masks in public?
Tell me.
Spreadnicks.
That sounds gross.
It does. It's all sweaty in the back, and
I like it.
It sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like some kind of blowjob.
Have you guys ever heard of a show called Ted Lasso?
No.
So it's on Apple Plus or whatever.
Okay.
It's got oh my gosh, what's the guy's name? One of the guys who used to be on Saturday Night Live. I can't think of his name. Andy Sudeikis, that's his name.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of movies. Well, apparently the premise of the show is he's like he's an American that ends up coaching a pro soccer team in England.
Okay.
I happened to just randomly watch the Emmys the other day. That show won everything.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know how many they gave out, but it seemed like every time there was something to do with a comedy, either the supporting actress, the lead actress, the supporting, all of it, directing, fucking probably film score and costumes, they do those off air.
Right.
It's won everything. It was like that, and there's two more shows that are on HBO that I can't remember the name of. But it's almost like, am I missing out not watching that? I just
I
don't know. Because it seems to be.
You can give it 3 episodes like Bobby.
Well,
yeah, and I'll tell you, like, that's usually like, you know, because like I don't know why, but like, you know, a lot of movies don't hit my radar unless it's like geek shit. But like, I'm into a lot of movies that aren't geeky.
Right. Well,
you know?
this is a TV series.
Right. But what I say that to say this is that like a lot of times I'll go and look at like the Oscars and shit just to see what films were in the in the running, just to have something like, oh, okay, this is something I've never heard of and seems to be fairly well regarded. Let me watch a trailer of this and see. You know, it's almost like a good filter.
There's so much content.
Well, especially when I was in the film industry, but time since then, I've tried to watch all the nominees. For Best Picture.
Same.
It's a struggle sometimes because some of those is like, I don't know who likes this, but it's not for me kind of thing.
I mean, I feel like sometimes people make the movie specifically to get an Oscar.
They do.
Oh, for sure.
So like it's
Simple Jack.
Never.
Leonardo DiCaprio fought a real bear to get his Oscar.
That's right. That's right.
I wouldn't.
Martin Scorsese made The Departed to get his Oscar.
That dude, not for nothing, that dude should have got the Oscar fucking 4 times over before he ended up getting it for Departed. And he deserved it for Departed, but he should have got it for Gangs of New York. He should have got it for Goodfellas. He probably should have got it for Joe's favorite film, Casino. What
is his most underrated film? Not underrated. That's not the right word. Not underrated.
Okay.
Overlooked, I'd say. Like things that don't immediately pop on people's radar.
I would say probably. I mean, we just talked about it last week, but Last Temptation of Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that one's so controversial. I think so many people have not watched it for that reason.
Mean Streets. Mean Streets is like it's like whatever Reservoir Dogs is to Pulp Fiction, Mean Streets is to Goodfellas. Okay. In my opinion. It's like the warm up,
and I think the Last Temptation of Christ now is a lot less controversial than back then.
Probably,
we become a lot more.
Jesus still gets. I mean, even when Passion came out, it's caused a whole bunch of shit.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't Last Temptation a long time ago.
Right, but yeah, I just think we become a lot more secular.
Jesus pretty touchy
with especially the younger generation.
Yeah,
I feel like religious people are just mainly older people.
I guess when you fuck with people's God and shit. I mean, look at Islam. You can't even draw that dude. And you know what I mean? Fucking journalists get fucking killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like you like, and you know, Jesus doesn't get the same treatment, but I feel like it's still shaky ground. You still got to tread a little carefully. Like it's not like you can do Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I love that.
It's fucking awesome.
It's fucking
awesome.
It's great.
And nobody skips a beat. Everybody's in for it. But if you did like Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, people are gonna throw a fit.
Everybody loses their minds.
But they use Jesus to fight vampire all the time on the cross.
I agree.
Like every time you pull up a cross, you're using Jesus to fight vampires.
This is true.
I mean, there was a little bit of pushback. I mean, there was a little bit of pushback over Buddy Christ, and also once again, which was awesome. And that's another thing is that like only if you grew up, like in my opinion, if you grew up Catholic, does that like Kevin Smith did? Where you get it. Like as a kid, Mass is a scary fucking place. Like it's all dark and candles and people dying and pictures around you. Like it's fucking terrifying. Yeah. So like, but anyway, I mean, there was a pushback to dogma. You know, like a religious pushback.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
But it was a long time ago. It was also a long time ago.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, that's 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So like, we only have one decade that we're not accounted for with fucking people getting offended about some.
Did we do nothing Jesus recently?
I don't know. Maybe we need more Jesus. We need Jesus in our life.
You need Jesus, man.
No, the closest we got is Jesus. So.
Thank God.
Yeah. Hey, that
Jesus.
Look, we're podding. He said we need Jesus. Closest we got is Jesus. Thank God.
Yep.
The layers.
That's
the layers.
Build the buddy booth.
The layers. Okay, continue.
3-way buddy booth.
3-way buddy booth. A triangle in the room.
There's a pivot. There's a pivot in the middle. I just put big spit guards up. So getting back to the Emmys last year, Schitt's Creek won everything.
Oh yeah.
And I actually binge watched Schitt's Creek. It was very good. It's that I don't even know how to describe it. Kind of an Arrested Development style of humor. You know, there's always money in the banana stand.
True.
Yeah,
that's what I hear anyway. I've never san it. The Sopranos movie comes out Friday.
Yes, I'm excited.
Oh really? Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's a prequel with
his kid
son.
being.
Yeah, apparently Ray Liotta's in it.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, shouldn't he?
The artist formerly known as Ray. I mean, I saw an interview with Ray Liotta. But today on Sunday morning, it was Willie Guy sat down with him, and it's like, dude, what have you done to yourself?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's like the Little Kim of actors.
If it had been, if he hadn't been
sculpted,
if he hadn't been in all these gangster movies, it would have just been normal Hollywood. But it's like, bro, if you look at your contemporaries,
you think
they're melting on stage, and it's fine.
You think your fitness people have turned themselves into works of art? You ain't seen nothing yet. Till you see Ray Liotta.
Yeah. Man,
Ray Liotta, Little Kim, and Courtney Love, like the top three. Like, and
I haven't seen Courtney Love lately.
And Michael before he
I
passed.
don't remember. I saw Celebrity the other day. I'm like, what have you done to yourself? Go ahead.
Since you talk about Tombstone and you like cyberpunk,
Yeah,
you should try Red Dead Redemption.
I've got it on my list. I've got it on my
like,
list. Here.
because it's made by the same company, same
Okay.
type of game.
Yeah.
And if you like cowboys, it's a great story.
I mean, I didn't go that far, but sure.
It's a good story.
Should have
apparently.
been a cowboy. Should have learned to rope and ride.
Howdy, partners.
So,
Howdy, partners.
That it reminds me of real quick. I'll let you,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
the professional when he's like doing his
Yes,
and he goes,
dude.
howdy, partners.
Dude, that's a great fucking movie.
oh goodness. So
There's a shoot 'em up movie, violence shoot 'em up movie that has a heart and soul to it.
Yeah.
That has a fucking like this.
I mean,
depth.
it's got a kid in there.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
it
what
always
does
helps.
It. No, it never hurts.
But also, like, it's not done the same way. Like, the kid is not just there to be the kid to relate to by kids. 'Cause,
Right?
like,
No.
she has
not
character.
At all. She's not. Because there's not. There's
not
not
typical.
Meant, yeah, there's not meant to be an entryway point for kids anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the ending.
Yeah, great.
Fuck.
So we've closed the website for the moment, not forever. I need to figure out a better way to say that. We're going to take a pause. 'Cause people are like,
Hiatus.
oh, so the website closed for a hiatus. So we wanted to catch up on everything.
This is angelfire.com /
GeoCities, yeah, GeoCities.
Soho.
You remember that? I'm gonna give you my URL right now. So it's http //www.geocities.angelfire.hostme
Host me.
Webring.
.us.
Yeah. And once you put all that in,
Dude, as soon as I see your website says .us, I'm not clicking on it.
yeah, the .co. They always try to pitch you that. So we've closed the website. We're about all caught up. Something funny happened, and it's happened a while back, and I forgot to mention it. So Kelly paints in the shop there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a fan that we vented out and everything. It works really good.
It's its own little buddy booth in a way.
Shower. It is its own little buddy booth. Please don't do anything in there that, yeah, you don't want to do that. So she was painting one day, and it was, I don't remember, it was raining outside or what it was. 3 or 4 frogs somehow got through a crack in there.
What the fuck?
Dude, fucking fucking disease.
It's pestilence. It's the plague of frogs.
And then the plague.
Yeah. So 3 or 4 of them, and we're just laughing. Like, she took a picture of, like, she had painted, you know, we paint all the backs of everything solid, and there's like frog footprints. Well, so yesterday she painted, and then I airbrushed, and I try to remember to take the window down or take the fan out of the window. Well, I go down there last night, just make sure everything's locked up, and like the fan's still on. It's been knocked out of the window.
Just catch a fire.
I know, right? And this chunky boy was sitting on this paper towel on the work table.
That's a toad.
Yeah, it's a toad. No, this is
that motherfucker belongs to a whole witch.
Yeah. I don't know. This may be like a timeshare toad. There may be like 6 or 7 witches. But Mason scooped him up and took him outside. Like, geez. So I just thought that was a funny
Does
story.
the Butters have anything to do with this?
No, Butters wouldn't know what to do with that.
I thought we would try to eat it or some shit.
So we're gonna watch we're gonna watch a specific pattern of movies prior to the new Spider-Man.
Okay.
No Way Home, I think it's called. So we started with Spider-Man, the
Homecoming?
first Raimi movie.
Is that Homecoming?
Homecoming is the first. No, we're watching like
You're
the
watching
multiverse.
Maguire. I got you.
So we started the Maguire.
Doesn't hold up.
It does.
I didn't like that shit when I saw
It's
it.
campy. It's real.
It is
It's almost like Broadway theater campy.
I hated fucking Green Goblin and that shit. I couldn't get past
Somewhat
it.
of a scientist
some-
myself. There's one thing that's really cringy in today, looking at it through today's lens, when he's wrestling Macho Man and he jumps up on the cage and it says, "Nice outfit. Did your husband make that for you?" And me and Mason were like, "Oh."
As a matter of fact, he did, brother.
Funny if you'd said that.
Hey.
But you know, it's good. It's a good movie. I think it was good for the time. It's a little cheesy with the Green Goblin bit.
It never hit for me.
I'm looking forward to watching the second one.
Yeah, the second
one is the one.
The second one's great.
That's the linchpin.
But I haven't watched it again in a long time.
I know, I'm scared.
I don't want to fuck it up.
I'm going to wait for the review.
Yeah.
So
And the third one was always awful.
But
also.
that was the reason why the third one was awful for me. Like, it was bad by itself,
too
but
much
coming
going on.
off of
The
two,
second one, yeah.
it's jarring.
and then he dances. And it's
Although Sandman was well casted.
He
I
was.
like, dude,
Yeah.
like we always said, you can always find something good out of something shitty.
Yeah, but Topher Grace's Venom was just like, what?
Yeah.
Why is the kid from that 70s show in my movie?
Awful.
It was great.
They need a jacked bodybuilder, bro,
You guys remember a while back
to be Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Unless he wasn't Eddie Brock, that's fine.
Right.
But
What
Eddie Brock was
what if it was Brock from Pokemon?
no eyes.
Yeah, no eyes.
Yeah, gotta find a jacked Asian guy then.
I didn't make that joke, ladies and gentlemen. Timestamp.
A while, I think Dante mentioned it when he was on a while back, and then I watched it too as the untold story of the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
So that's actually a series on Netflix
Oh, no
of
shit.
documentaries. So I watched. Someone I work with had
man.
suggested another one to me.
Pandemonium in the Stadium. I'm trying to find.
No. But,
That's pretty good.
so it was called Untold Crime and Penalties.
That doesn't rhyme.
It doesn't rhyme at all.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the objective here. So this is about basically it's about a gangster that owns the Connecticut trash market who buys a minor league hockey team for his son, who is 17 at the time, because he was a prospect.
Dude, generational wealth. Am I right?
Right. So the kid was a probably top 10 hockey prospect in high school, and gets just destroyed and he can't play anymore. So his dad buys him a minor league hockey team, and they're like they literally just recruit fighters. I mean, the first thing that they do as a franchise, the guy drops his gloves when the puck drops and just starts swinging on people.
What the fuck?
Wow.
But they ended up being pretty good. They lost the championship game. Like, one of the guys gets his knee blown out, and the doctor says he'll never play, and the guy says, bullshit, I'm going to play. And, like, his only goal was to get back in the game and fuck up the guy who hurt him. And he did.
Fair.
Yeah. So, like, all these people got kicked out of the league. It turns out that, the guy got indicted in federal charges, racketeering tied to, I think, the Gambino family out of New York.
One of the big five.
Funny story. The industry I'm in, we often deal with carting services, which is private trash haulers. And my buddy who covers Connecticut, I was like, dude, you got to watch this. And he's like, holy shit, this name, that name. I've been in these buildings. I've been in the bar because it's all, I just thought that was crazy. And yeah, that was almost too close to home, because I've been over there to Connecticut before, and I was like, did we go in one of those? He's like, no, it was a different company. I'm like, well, maybe they still got it. And like the dude that he said, the main guy in this movie, the one that got indicted, they have like a framed picture of him on the wall in one of these businesses he's gone in. Jeez, that's crazy. There's a wrestling show this weekend that I'm not going to, but they call it the Deathmatch Circus. It's a 2-night event, and they're doing camping there. And this is an extreme event. So the camping, they said it's going to be pretty intense, Joe.
Fuck! I thought you got your shit out of the way before the show.
I had a feeling it was coming.
I got a whole clip. Last thing. I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. That might be the best video game I've
It's
ever
a
played.
great game, yeah.
Have you played it?
Yes. And watched a lot of it.
It's fucking great. I mean, I'm just through, I guess, the first story arc.
You like the same kind of, it sounds like you like the same kind of game I like, which is like a third person open world type of adventure experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just and it's a beautiful game on the PS5. It's absolutely beautiful.
I have not had the pleasure of having a PS5.
I bought the.
Flex on me.
Just let me know when you're ready. We got you. I can have you on within a week.
I don't know.
Can you really though?
Yeah, bro.
I'll give you money.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you want one, I'll do what I need to do and get you one.
I do.
Okay. So it's $600.
Okay. I don't know how much they actually are.
That's
I haven't even looked into it. I don't know.
I'm
I just
kidding.
spent a G on fucking a washer. I don't fucking know how money works anymore.
I remember years ago in the film industry, there was a rent-to-own place next door, and this is, I think, the
Rent-to-own.
I think the X. What came after?
It's like layaway, but you get it up front.
Yeah, and then you pay like 8 times retail. What Xbox came out? What was the order of the Xboxes? So it was
Xbox One, Xbox 360.
I think it was 360 the white one.
Yes.
Or also known as off-white in most people's houses.
Yes.
By the time you got,
I believe so.
it was a 360.
Yeah,
so
I have the 360.
The 360, they had it at
Maybe
the
it was
rent-to-own.
Xbox 360, Xbox One.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And now it's like the one. I can't keep up with their shit.
I
Just
can't either.
Now it's just a box. If you look at it, it's just a fucking box.
Yeah,
it looks like
with an X on it.
Does it even have an X on it anymore?
Did you see somebody? Somebody got to somehow put their vape and held it on, so it's like try to make it look like their Xbox was like smoke was coming out of it. That was funny. Where was I going with that?
Money.
I don't know.
Layaway.
Oh, layaway. Yeah. So they had, and let's say Xbox 360 was, I don't know, was it $300?
Let's
just say, I think it was. If you did the payments out, you were going to pay like $850 for this fucking thing.
God.
It's crazy. It's a crazy industry. But that game is great. I got the, I don't know, deluxe director's cut PS5 upgrade version. So it's like all the ton of DLC and stuff. But it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I think I played 6 hours the other day when I should have been doing other things.
Wow.
I mean, those games suck you in, so to speak.
Well, I got up early for everybody.
Open world games, like dozens of hours. It's normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got an interesting story. Everything kind of ties in well. It's not, the storytelling's not clunky, and it seems like it is in a lot of these video games.
It's hard to storyboard an open world game, right? Where you can go anywhere, anytime, do anything. It's hard to make that shit gel. So it's really good when they can. Yeah,
I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And Red Dead's on my list of things to play, so I definitely want to play that.
The Pinkertons are in it. I told you that a while back.
Yeah, I remember that.
Goddamn Pinkertons, the bad guys, I think.
So last thing I want to mention is, and I've talked about this before, just cussing on TV.
Uh-huh.
So AEW, they've been saying shit a lot, and as you guys know, I'm in some Facebook groups.
I've heard that.
In a lot of the Facebook groups, people are like, I don't know if I can support this product if WWE doesn't resort to that. Well, guess what? Monday Night Raw, they said shit. So
nice.
Everybody's just saying shit now, guys.
I don't understand why. I never, even as a child,
what the shit?
I don't understand why that's a bad word.
I mean,
it just means feces.
Jaina said it best when Laura sent her ass back to home on Sorry. She said shit, and Laura and I both. She was like 8 at the time, maybe younger, and Laura and I were looked at each other, and then looked at her. I'm trying not to laugh, and Laura's like, "You cannot say that," and she's like, "Okay." And 5 minutes went by, and Jaina was like, "Would it be okay if I ask a question about it?" And we said, "Sure." And she said, "I know I'm not supposed to say it, and I know that it's a bad word, but it really is a word. There's nothing about it inherently that makes it any better or worse than another word. It doesn't have any power to be good or bad. So why is it bad?" And Laura was trying to think her way out of it. So I just cut Laura off, and I was like, "It's not. It's not. It's no more good or worse than any other word. The truth is that it's just a societal thing, and I can't have you saying it at school by accident, and then me having to come down and explain it. So you can't say it."
Perfect.
Exactly.
But we're letting her say it now.
Nice.
She asked at 13. She was like, "Can I have any words?" There's some words that I want access to that I don't feel like I have access to.
How many were on the list? And was it a written list? Or was it typed out on a VCR?
Yes. So it was probably written somewhere, but she had it committed to memory. But they were very reasonable.
Was it the Winter Soldier words?
It was ass, hell, damn, and shit, I think.
Those are all normal words.
And I said, "Yep, you're good. You're good."
Hell is in the Bible.
I don't think I'm ready for dick, pussy, and fuck yet.
No,
but
see, the thing is, I understand why those are considered bad words or cuss words, because you can see that they're related to something vulgar. Because for some reason everybody fucks, but it's considered vulgar, right? Sex is considered vulgar, and those are body parts. I understand why bitch would be considered bad because it's is a insult, right?
Yeah.
Right. Calling someone a female dog, technically speaking.
Right.
I understand why fuck is a bad word, but there's just some words like damn, shit, and hell, and ass that are, I don't understand why it's bad. Asshole, I understand why it's bad.
I caught
because there was a thing on rules, right? On
Yeah,
TV,
you
you can say
could-
ass,
but
you can say hole, but you can't say asshole.
Yep.
Right.
You can say
It was
damn, but
the
you can't
whole-
say goddamn.
the
You can say
whole,
God, you can say damn, you can't say
Yeah,
goddamn.
see, I understand that more.
Yeah, George Carlin did a whole bit about that back in the day. I caught my daughter saying,
Legend.
I walked by her room. She was on a call with her friend, and I heard her say queef.
That's not a bad word.
It's not. It's
like
but it's so funny. So I gave her some shit about it. I was like, what you know about queefs? And she's like,
the front,
because I told Kelly about it. I was like, I'm going to say something to her, just joking. I don't care.
it's the front fart.
I had a buddy of mine that had this fucking big ass. What's that dog? Great Dane.
That's a dog for sure.
He that's Marmaduke, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had one of them. This fucking thing was the size of a horse.
I was going to say it's a pony.
Yeah, it is fucking huge. And his name was Chief. The dog was like, "Hey, Chief," and but he used to call him Queef all the time, like because the dogs they just respond to the general sound or something and say, "Hey, Queefy."
That's great. That's great. I think that wraps it up for me.
All right. We got a little bit of notes, nothing too crazy. For one, just because we've been kind of covering it, R. Kelly was found guilty. The charges that he was found guilty of
Bullshit.
were strange to me. It was racketeering.
So I know why.
Okay, tell me.
Because they can go back further. If the racketeering charges, you can go back further than the statute of limitations on a kidnapping, rape charges.
Okay, and then sex trafficking, which also seemed like a weird one, I think. But see,
Why do you think it's weird?
because like to me, I don't. So once again, this might be some sort of legal talk that I don't understand all of the parameters.
Right.
I don't know if I see. When I think of sex trafficking, I think of like, and I'm going to go to an extreme, but like, there's some Russian mob, and they bring all these Russian girls over in a fucking shipping container to be put on the street
That's human trafficking.
to make money for sex acts, sex trafficking. But like, I don't know what he's doing that's sex trafficking, and I'm saying that not as a challenge, as out of
I would maybe if he's paying someone to get girls, underage girls,
Maybe.
to have sex with. That's sex trafficking, right? Or like,
okay, wait, here we go.
yeah.
He was convicted on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of violating the Mann Act, the law that
Mann Act.
It's two
The
ends.
man.
It's two ends, but the law that bars transporting people across state lines for any immoral purpose.
Okay.
Okay,
So if he
so he'd have had Aaliyah in the car.
right, exactly, or there's two. I know there's some
8.
girls in
8.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
Moving them around.
So I think it faces anywhere 10 years to life in prison.
He's gonna put out an album while he's in there. You know that, right?
I'm going to tell you, I don't think it would do well.
I think he's done.
Bro, okay.
So like they're not even like there was a versus with Ja Rule and Fat Joe last week.
Are they still relevant?
I wanted to listen to that actually. I forgot it happened.
So Fat Joe kind of is, Ja Rule isn't, but that's kind of the point of versus is to bring older acts and let them like compare their catalogs and like celebrate their careers.
But a lot of these 80s, 90s, and 2000s acts tour and they sell out buildings.
Yeah, well,
like
and
5%
Backstreet
of them.
Boys is still touring.
and a lot of them are using versus as a catapult for a tour.
Hey, make that money.
Yeah, for sure. Because like for some reason, rap is like the only one that can't do that. Like the Rolling Stones can go on tour today. You know what I mean? But like rap acts would be like, oh, shut your old ass up. You know, like it's like.
Well, I think its relevancy changes so quickly with rap music.
So I work in.
That's you on my MySpace, girl.
I don't know how to put this. That's just I work in a lot of different environments, right? And I work with a lot of different people and from different places. Like I work in Baltimore
For example.
Some people are perfectly okay with R. Kelly.
Well,
Some people are perfectly excusing him and saying it's the girl's fault.
Well, I mean,
Like
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think even in the diverse communities that's the common thread. Because like the reason why I brought up this verses was because they both did songs with R. Kelly that were huge hits, and both of them chose not to play it.
Yeah, because there was this because it's just recent because like it wasn't with one location with 4 ladies and like this conversation came up and they were all on board with him.
And I mean, I think there's also a question of like, can we separate? And at what point? I guess at what point does it stop? But like separating the art from the artist.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because like I mean, Mel Gibson has said some awful things, but like he's also made some pretty great art. Like Kanye West has said some absurd things.
Saying things and doing things, maybe like a difference.
Maybe that's the thing. I'm like that's what I'm not saying it like I have an answer. I'm throwing the question out into the universe. Like when do you say? When is something so egregious that you're like? You know, maybe, I mean,
I think it depends on
raping and pissing on little girls is the answer, which I think is completely valid.
Yeah. Because, like, we know people who have been, like, fucking serious domestic abusers who are perfectly walking around being popular nowadays, right?
Oh, you talking about? Oh, no, you talking. Who are you talking about?
I don't know.
But I'm sure there's some out there. You're saying I don't know either. But I mean, Bill
Chris
Cosby.
Brown? Didn't Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna?
Oh yeah.
He's popular.
Yeah.
Didn't Van Damme beat the shit out of his wife too?
Who?
Van Damme.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, I mean, I feel like there are people out
Yeah,
there
that
who's
is,
done shit like that are okay.
Yeah.
But they didn't piss on little girls.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a pretty bad one.
That's a
pretty bad one.
I'm sure there's a range in there somewhere. There's a line, but like we don't know where the line is right now.
Yeah.
But definitely not pissing on little
Yeah,
girls.
that's not okay.
So I did forget a couple. Well, same thing twice. On my Nerd Week was Dark Side of the Ring is back. And they did the first episode they did coming back was called The Plane Ride from Hell. And this is a story of a WWE overseas tour, and instead of trying to book everybody on commercial, they rented it. It's a custom jet. It's all first class seats, the whole thing, because to try to manage everybody. Apparently, there was a 7-hour delay on the runway. They had to order 2 extra liquor carts before they took off. And so everybody was just trash, doing all sorts of nonsense. And this story has been around for a long time. WWE actually did. They did this thing where basically it would be, okay, you know how Jaina animates sometimes the video? So it's basically that done at a professional level. Like Ric Flair tells this story and then they animate what happened.
Yeah.
I like those, yeah.
So they had done one on this. And the story was that Ric Flair apparently is a very well-endowed man, and from time to time would on request take off everything but his robe and then do the helicopter spin. This story's been up there for a while. They had a woman on the episode that was a stewardess on that flight, and she tells it from her point of view, which is, I was trapped in the galley by this 50-year-old man swinging his dick at me.
Yeah.
So Ric Flair is on the. I'm not gonna say he's canceled, but like he's lost
on the hot seat.
He's lost a couple sponsorships. He had just left WWE, looking to come to AEW. That's obviously on the hold. And in that episode, Tommy Dreamer, who's a professional wrestler you may or may not have heard of, he was part of the ECW crew back in the day. He says, and when I heard him say it, I'm like, God, it's basically, is it really the worst thing you've ever experienced? That's
awful.
Playing down
That's
what
fucking
she said.
awful.
And he's been fired from his wrestling job. He's been put on an extended hiatus. He's on the #1 wrestling program on podcasting, and he's not anymore.
I mean, that's the worst response to give.
It is.
To any situation. It's like, well, did your dog die though? Like,
and
that's neither here or there, bro.
And the thing was,
Chappelle did it once though. Chappelle did it once for Louis C.K. and I agreed with him on that one because he was like if you can't handle that, you can't handle the shit that's gonna come at you in showbiz. That's worse than that, even though it's not sexual. Just people saying you don't have the talent for this, you don't have the skill set for this. So like I do think that like not all the crimes are equal. Obviously, being trapped on a space with a not just a man but a wrestler, so a guy that's going to be a strong dude. Swinging like that's a little bit different than I think
someone asking if it's okay to jerk off.
Correct.
That's very different.
Correct.
But I mean, it's not inappropriate. It's still wrong.
But that's what Chappelle said. Chappelle said, "Is that the worst thing? That's fucking like you're not made for this business."
Yeah.
And I think there's some truth to that too. But I think there's, like you said, there's a big difference.
I think the context is different.
There's a big difference. And one of the guys on the flight, Rob Van Dam's another wrestler. He said things that basically corroborated her story. But now he's backtracking. He's like, well, no, I didn't see anything. So, it's a big, exactly. He had his robe. So WWE's taken down the episode of that show, which obviously they have. Ric Flair's kind of on the outs with everything. And I don't know. It's funny that, that's something, like I said, it had been in the viscera forever. And
all you had to do just like, yeah, I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. I apologize. I was fucked up. Like, I don't know. That's the kind of response I would want from somebody if I cared. If I was a fan of his, that's what I would want from him. And I would be like,
yeah.
There's something.
You can move on from that point.
Yeah.
You can't move on from the point of like, well, wasn't that bad.
Right. Well, one more layer to this
cake
ogre-shaped onion is the young lady that was on the show and another young lady that was a stewardess actually sued WWE and settled. And it was well, if it was that bad, why didn't you go to court? Why did you settle? That was someone else's argument. Like, look,
that's also another
it is
awful. If you
it
are
is.
an individual going against a mega company, also
you're not gonna have the money to
circus
bleed
of
them
a
out.
court.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, and sometimes though, like
sometimes you just want money. Sometimes you go
like that Michael shit.
Yeah.
So,
like straight cash.
Mm-hmm. So that's something like, why would you? Don't assume one or the other.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Just be like, it is what it is.
That's
why do you settle if you're not guilty? But there's reasons to do that too.
Correct.
Exactly.
Like that's what I think it was Brilliant Idiots that said it, that I co-signed, that they were like during the phase of like believe women.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just take that out of since we're just men at this table, only men, lowly men, and move it to the Michael situation where it was a man, like I don't think it should be believe women or believe men. I think we should listen to everybody and believe the evidence.
Yes. Doesn't matter who, how old, where.
Give a listen.
Yeah.
Give an ear and believe the evidence.
Because it doesn't matter what category of a human being you are. If you're a human being, you're capable of good and bad.
Correct.
Yeah. So the other episode was about Chris Canyon. You guys probably never heard of Chris
Porn
Canyon.
star?
Porn star, for sure.
Well, it's
big,
not.
big gaping asshole.
Well,
I haven't seen him any of his work, but
I mean, that means from the name.
he was a closet homosexual almost his entire career. So
not so
you
funny
might be right
anymore.
about
yeah,
that.
now the joke seems fucked up.
Yeah, God damn it! I hate when that happens.
And he killed himself. So
Timestamp.
yeah, so
How was last week? Editing last week's episode, by the way.
Sucked.
You had listened to the whole thing.
well, I did listen to last week's episode and I did not notice any edits. So you did a good job.
The loud censor beeps.
Oh, what the fuck was that about?
Protecting.
Okay, you did.
It was like actual.
So I meant to message
Protecting
you.
my friend.
Okay, so it's kayfabe.
And
we're kayfabing. We're kayfabing. Anyways, I won't deep dive that. It was a very interesting story. If I don't know if the non wrestling fan will find it quite as interesting as some of these other ones, but I was a fan of the guy and didn't really know. I knew he came out as gay at some point in time, but the connection he had to today's wrestling, like there's several wrestlers that are directly impacted by his career, and he actually worked with some of these guys, and that was something I never knew would happen. So,
gotcha.
There we go.
Did you see that? Anybody see the trailer for Hit Monkey?
No.
From Marvel?
Yeah, it's coming on Hulu. It's going to be a series, an animated series.
And it's not going to be on Disney?
No, so much like the other one that they did. What was that? Where it was the guy, the guy his face is
MODOK.
on MODOK.
Oh,
That
okay.
went to Hulu. So I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit raunchier, a little bit more Deadpoolish than.
I mean, the Head Monkey came from Deadpool, as far as I remember. I mean, he was in Deadpool anyway.
Yeah, so
The
I mean,
comic book.
so
Yeah.
my guess would be that's why it's going to Hulu instead of Disney Plus, to keep Disney Plus.
Oh, so like the new Deadpool movie maybe in Hulu instead of Disney.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the way to work
cool
around
to
it.
work around. Yeah, it's a different brand, even though it's the same
They own
shit.
it, but yeah.
The trailer looked fine. Like
It's monkey. Come on,
monkey business.
Be more.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Why aren't you more excited?
I think I don't have Hulu in the first place, so like it's like my chances of seeing it aren't very high.
Let me give you.
Yeah,
we should.
Yeah,
I
we
don't know
should
why
share a little bit.
It's the same company. It's fine.
Right,
Disney,
right.
Hulu, same
right,
shit.
Exactly. And then Marvel sues a bunch of its creators, including Stan Lee.
Marvel, the company, suing its creators.
Yep. So I am going to read this. Marvel suing the heirs of some of the company's most notable creators in an attempt to retain the rights to characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and the Avengers. Over the past 2 decades, the comic company's biggest heroes have grown from comic book characters to pop culture superstars, with the MCU becoming the dominant force in global film. However, despite Marvel's recent success, its characters are still subject to copyright law. Under copyright law, creators or their families or estates can file to reclaim the rights to characters or franchises they made after a certain period of time. Generally, a comic writer cedes the rights to their characters to the company they write for, but after a number of years, the law allows for them or their heirs to petition the publisher's rights to be terminated and the characters in question to be returned to their original creators. A successful termination filing means the company losing the rights to the character or story in question. Last paragraph. The waiting period is almost up for a number of major Marvel characters, and the company is taking legal action to try to retain the rights to Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, and more. Per THR, Marvel has filed 5 different lawsuits against their heirs and estates of past creators, including Stan Lee, Gene Colan, and Steve Ditko, all legends. The lawsuit claims that all their characters in questions were created as work for hire, making their rights ineligible for a return to the creators. If Marvel fails in its efforts, it could start losing some of its biggest characters in less than 2 years.
That's fucking evil.
Can I just make? I'm going to make a statement about this. You can write it down, put out a press release, however you want to do it.
Take a picture.
Pay these motherfuckers just to keep the shit. The money you're spending suing them, just like, hey, Miss Lee or whoever's attached to this, listen, we're going to pay you.
And they created it.
We're going to pay you.
They did create it.
X amount of money a year.
It's theirs.
In perpetuity.
The law was made to be fair.
Right. I get that. But let's just.
But yeah, give them money if nothing else.
So what's,
or at least
and also, it makes you look fucking awful.
Yeah, or at least sit them down at the table. Have the conversation at the table and see if anything can be worked out before you go to legal.
At the same time, we don't know that hasn't already been attempted.
Fair.
This may be a.
This seems like a preemptive strike.
I want $1 billion for the Spider-Man rights or whatever.
Right. Yeah, we don't know.
But
yeah,
fair is fair. It's fucking theirs.
Yeah.
If it's theirs, it's theirs.
that's what I'm saying. Just buy it or lease it
Marvel.
from them.
Like they say Marvel, but like, don't forget Marvel is Disney, and Disney is the reason why
is responsible for the reasons. For all of it.
All of it.
Mickey Mouse
is fucking the reason why.
Yeah.
There's no. What is the law?
Twilight or whatever to patent and IP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's supposed to end after a while. Creative properties, IP is supposed to end, and then it's public use.
Yeah, public
But
domain.
there's no more fucking thing because of goddamn Disney.
It's the reason that like a lot of shit that it was created beforehand. Like there's certain like classical songs that get used all over the place in their public domain because they were created so long ago. So yeah, I mean, just
fucking awful.
There's a lot of shitty business stuff going on over there on that side these days, and
we're hearing about a lot of shitty business stuff. I guarantee you, this stuff's been going on for decades,
for sure. But some of these are unique, because like DC they've taken care of and don't get me wrong, not because they're heroes, because legal action was sought prior to.
Well, I mean, the whole Bill Finger
Bob
thing.
Kane, Bill Finger, Shyster and Schuster, whatever the guys that created.
I love the roles.
Shyster's DC and Marvel, but you know what I mean. Shyster and Schuster. I can't. The two guys that created Superman.
Yeah, I got you.
And then the Injustice Redband trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it
for the video game or the
animated movie based on the video game and comic. It looks great. At a certain point, you see Superman fly through Solomon Grundy.
So it's just like the game then. Nice,
perfect. It looked pretty good.
It's the DC What If.
Yeah. Okay, and then questions. So,
and you can send your questions to
nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com, and also please leave us a 5-star review.
Please.
Yeah, I know some of you motherfuckers are from Twitch. Please leave 5 because like the people on Twitch be like, oh, I was listening to you guys.
Oh, nice.
Like, I hope you guys are motherfucking leaving reviews here.
Twitch them fingers on the keyboard. Paul C said, "What was your after-school routine when you were a kid?
Jerk off.
Did you start your homework right away? I guess it depends on the age. So that you could have your evenings free? Did you watch TV or play video games right away and then do your homework after dinner? Bonus points if you can remember the differences in your routine through the various phases of that part of your life. If you were a TV watcher, even more bonus points if you can remember the specific lineup. If you can't, what would your ideal after-school TV lineup be?"
I definitely jerked off first, as far as I remember in America anyway, because I started
because you came over here as a teen.
Yeah, it's like 10.
Oh.
But I didn't have my own. My parents didn't have a house, so we had our own place till I was in middle school.
All right.
And by then, I mean, I was playing myself my entire childhood.
Yeah, my entire life, I've always been like, "What's this all about?"
Yeah, this feels good. But then one day, shit came out. I'm like, "Oh fuck,
what's this?
It's not. Shit's not.
What's this?"
well, Neither is gas, but
Well, mine didn't involve masturbation that I can recall. It was normally.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't home alone either though. So
You didn't have your own room.
yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking like,
I thought we all had a
what
point-
age?
Not
I
in
mean,
Alabama.
Oh, shit. I thought we all had a phase in our life where you can't keep your hands off your dick because that was
No,
definitely.
I'm in that phase currently.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like it was different. It hit different.
Mine
Like,
was. I don't have memories of my after school cartoons mixing with semen.
So I think it's different eras. I think like
Yeah.
what we're talking about is like I'm sure during your teenage years, it was a different lineup perhaps
Well,
than in your.
my teenage years was mostly come home, eat a sandwich, and because school got out at like 2:55, and I was at work at 4 most days after school.
So I don't remember the order in which the shows came in, but I very much remember Power Rangers, Animaniacs, Batman, and then onto the live action shows, which was like Saved by the Bell. And then later on, I would it would be Star Trek would come on before like sitcoms would come on in the evening. I remember TGI Fridays, the 4 shows: Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step. Is that the name of the show?
Yep.
And what's one more?
It varied. There was only really 3 that.
It was
Yeah,
like-
those
that was
3
like
are the best, and the last one is just like
It varied.
That was like the Sunday night Fox lineup. There
Sabrina
was always
and
one
some
that varied. The
Yeah.
8:30 spot was the one that
Yeah.
couldn't get locked down.
I think it was
Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Yeah, it was on that channel.
That's the one I
Yeah.
didn't watch that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'd come home after, like, younger, come home after school and, have a snack and probably just watch, Transformers, G.I. Joe, because it seemed like there was 2 solid hours of, like, cartoons that came on after
Several,
school.
maybe 3 even. It was
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, it was come home and I had to do my homework immediately. Like,
Oh, you had adult supervision.
yeah, I had my grandma or my dad, and like it was like I had to come directly to the kitchen table, like report to the kitchen table, put my book bag on the kitchen table, books came out, homework got done first and foremost.
Are your
before
kids getting homework now?
No.
My kids just have very little. I think they're just really trying to keep them engaged while they're at school
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, homework is always, unless it's math. Homework's.
So anyway, I wasn't allowed to do shit until I finished my homework, and sometimes it went easy, and sometimes it didn't. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go outside and play. As soon as I got my homework done, I would go outside and play until the streetlights came on. Then I had to come inside.
Yep.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had Taekwondo. So
Is it where you practice hitting girls in the head?
I had to go. By the time I got my homework done, it was time to go to Taekwondo.
All right, time to knock out some bitches. Let's roll.
And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I had baseball in the spring. So like it was only in the fall that I got to go play outside. And as far as like cartoon lineup, I only remember it was Transformers. I remember Transformers at a certain period. I remember that like you could tell when like the cartoons were wrapping up, because it like depending on the channel you were on, it would go to like the Monkeys was on one. What's Happening would be on like on another one, was like another like common show that would come on to like stop the cartoons. But like another like super popular one for me just in my age bracket was the Mario Brothers show. Like you know,
I remember that
and
distinctly.
then Friday was Link or Zelda.
I always skip Fridays.
Oh
I
man,
didn't like that cartoon.
Oh dude, I was like, I never got to see it because I always had to go to my mom's house on Fridays. So it was like, it was a fucking pain in the ass. But
I tried to watch some of that recently with the kids. I'm like, oh, this is awful. It's so bad.
but that was a big one. Then when I was in like high school and shit, it was like I came home and I tried to go over to the World, and if I couldn't go to the World, I would go upstairs and do homework in my room while I watched Rhapsody from 4:30 to 6:30 every day. And then while Rhapsody was on, I would have my boombox sitting by it. So if something good came on, I could stick it right up to it and press record and get it on a tape. And I had a VCR plugged into the TV so I could record the video too at the same time. So I would go and hit both and then stop both. I mean, it was
Lost art, man.
It was like when I moved into this house, like, so 2010, I threw away a tub filled with VHS tapes, filled with music videos. Like, for, you know, like, because in my mind, I was like, if I don't get this now, it's going to be out of circulation and I'll never see it again.
I have a question. If you had typed out the labels, would you have kept them?
No.
Okay.
Because everything's accessible now.
I
Like,
know,
you
but
But you still have your CDs and.
Yeah, but that's different. It's not accessible.
Well, it's not that you're only keeping the ones that aren't accessible. It's not like you're only keeping the, you know.
Well, no, because I'm paying for accessibility. You know what I mean? Like, if I decide one day to stop paying for accessibility, which I probably won't, but if I'm being honest, but if I ever did, then I would be paying for it. But Yeah, it's different. It's different.
Speaking of music, I tried to listen to the new Drake album. I think I got through 2 songs.
I listened to the whole thing. It just.
I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah, it's not for me either. I listened to it to have an informed opinion.
I think it's for those Whitney Houston moms.
It's for grown men
that might be taking a little bit of a bump between.
It's for grown men that have stuffed animals on their bed. But here,
so I have I heard an interesting.
I got to stay on that for just a second because Dante on his Facebook put up this thing about the Drake album. Hold on, I'll let you hear.
The type is trending right now, and not gonna lie, Twitter got me weak, so figured I'd share. Here we go. Drake the type of guy who covers his homeboy's eyes and says, guess who? Drake the type of guy to start floating when he smells pie. What? Drake the type of guy to surprise his homies with a visit from the Tickle Monster. Drake the type of guy to lick his fingers before turning the pages in a book. Drake the type of guy to say, let's do a silly one during a group photo. Drake the type of guy to scream when the lights go out. Listen, the dark can be a scary place. Drake the type of guy to say cha-cha-cha while singing happy birthday. Drake the type of guy to tuck a napkin into his shirt before he starts eating. Drake the type of guy to kiss his reflection goodnight. Listen, self-love is important. Drake the type of guy to say pretty please with a cherry on top. Drake the type of guy to hold his nose when he goes underwater. Drake the type of guy to keep saying duck and duck, duck, goose. It's the fucking worst. Drake the type of guy to close a girl's Chromebook in school to flirt. We all did that though. Drake the type of guy to call shotgun and still end up in the back seat. Somebody's son.
Yeah. That last one was good.
So yeah, I listened to it. To me, it just sounded like a guy following the formula. Just, I mean, fine, but no growth, nothing. Yeah. Just typical, like still doing what he does the same way he does it.
So again, I work in many different locations,
yes.
right? And some locations play music. Mm-hmm. So I heard interesting take from 20-some-year-olds about Kanye, right? Because like he's super popular. I assume like everybody loves him, and or like
go ahead. It's different.
But he's super popular, making all kinds of money.
Yeah,
I know it's controversial, but like they were listening to his music, but also clowning on him at the same time. It's like it sounds good, they like it, and every time something comes out, because I'm not listening, but like they just shit on his lyrics. It's like, what is this guy writing? He's corny, or like this is dumb. Like, but his music, but the bop is good.
Yeah, but see, what's funny is this album of his, there's no bop.
I don't know if it's the new one or what, but they were listening to whatever. But it's just interesting to hear that take of, because like from an outsider, because I'm not super into music, I thought people, if they listen to him, they are drinking the juice or whatever. Like they like.
I think a lot of the older. I think he appeals to an older crowd now. You know, to be fair, but like,
because like I mean, these young people, they're listening still. They enjoy listening, but they're shitting on him.
Because I'm in a weird space where like I'm in this perpetual state of being around youth. Due to my job. Yeah. So like I'm still going to weddings on a regular basis. Like I'm the only 40-year-old I know that's like consistently going to weddings. I feel like a lot of people don't. Like you go to weddings a whole bunch at a certain point in your life, and then you go to baby showers a whole bunch at a certain point in your life, and then you start going to funerals a whole bunch at a certain point in your life. But like I'm still stuck in the wedding phase because I'm still constantly working with 22, 23-year-olds.
I mean, mopping is a young person's game.
It's a young person's
game. You don't
game.
stay mopping forever.
It's a young person's game. So I say all that to say this is that like they're not into it. Like most of them are like, yeah, like not for me. Like a lot of them love the Kanye Jay-Z album, the Watch the Throne, like and love it. That and My Twisted Dark Secret Fantasy, those two albums to them are almost like Thriller for me.
I could see that. Making sense.
But like this, like Donda and all, like not even remotely interested.
But what is sales coming from then?
Our generation.
And enough to sustain, like, I don't know if he's
'Cause
number one or topping the charts, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not having the same kind of success that Drake did, for instance. But he's like, I think his album came out almost like a month ago, and it's last I looked, it was at number 4.
He's doing okay though. He sells sneakers and those weird ponchos and shit.
That's where his money's coming from. His money comes from
and honestly, that has led him to a place where he can be as creative as he wants to, and doesn't really give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Fuck you, man.
If you're along for the ride, cool. If you're not, I'm gonna sell more sneakers.
Did you see that text message of his that like went viral between him and his engineer?
No.
He was like, it was like, hey, ready to record? Nothing, no response. And it was like, where are you? We're supposed to be recording at like 7 a.m.
Is this the engineer saying this to him?
No, this is him saying this to the engineer. And I'm going off the top of my head. I'm probably fucking it up.
Right.
And then it was like, never mind. You're fired. Go find God. And then the guy like texts back, like, I'm sorry. I just woke up. He's like, go find God. Don't talk to me again until you found God.
Like, how long was it between the messages?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But
Wow.
Oh, was it 3 o'clock in the morning, or was it like?
Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
I thought it was 7 a.m. I don't know.
Let me just see
If he woke up at like 4 a.m. and just had a creative
Listen,
bug.
and if you're going to work with I would say a manic person, you've got to be prepared to deal with their manic behavior.
And I mean, it's a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
this is not like a top of the. This is a newer producer.
Yesterday, 9:34 a.m. Good morning. Let's work. Yesterday, 11:23 a.m. You're fired. Go home.
That makes sense.
After,
That makes sense.
After that, I'm really sorry. I have no excuse. I set an alarm for 7:30, and whatever reason, my phone wasn't alerting me. I woke up at 11:08 to miss calls and got dressed as fast as I could. Lou was already in his way to get Boogs, and they just got here. I didn't call back right away because I was panicking trying to find a ride. I know this is unacceptable. I'm sorry. Stop texting. Go find God. Come back after you found God.
What does that even mean?
But I mean,
I don't know, but I feel like we should start saying it.
not for me. But I mean,
Just for something,
but I
just
think
when something
it's-
goes wrong. Like
I don't-
my kid makes a mess. I'm like, go find God.
that doesn't seem unreasonable. I mean, the last one.
No,
was
no,
funny,
no.
but,
I mean, it's and I'm sure he was up late as fuck working with Kanye West the night before on you know what I mean. Like, but my thing is like you're very fortunate to be in this space.
and also he texted you at 9:30 in the morning. It's not like
Right.
I was thinking maybe like 4 a.m. or something
Right.
crazy.
Well, that's
Because you've woken up like at 4 a.m. before
Sure.
and wanted to do some work, right?
and I do, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm depending on somebody else, that would suck.
But yeah, that's all I remember for our after school.
All right.
Wilfredo says, all the stars. What's up, nerds? Rodimus Prime Rib here, and this is my first time writing in. Been a fan for almost 3 years, listening from Puerto Rico.
Awesome.
Boricua, Boricua.
Hey, your boy fucked his girlfriend.
No, yeah, your boy did fuck my girl. And just want to give you all my thanks for entertaining us all in these hard and fun times over the years. Keep it up.
Hard and fun
Right on.
times is what I like.
Quick question for
Love
Chris.
it. Yep.
How many stars do you give that Omega versus Danielson match at AEW Grand Slam? So somebody else asking about it. I don't think this is the same one.
That's right, but that's the same the match
Right.
I was referring
Yes,
to.
yes.
Best
How many-
match.
Man, it's so to give you guys a little context around this, there's a guy named Dave Meltzer who has written the Wrestling Observer newsletter for out of 20 or 30 years. I mean, it used to literally come like they mail it to
newsletter.
your house. Now it's his website, but he always the break, and he rates matches, and to get a 5-star Meltzer rating is like a big fucking deal, and that match got 5 stars. Now he
thank
has he has ranked some matches like he I think he's done a 6-star match now.
So I guess who would you be to give it a 4.5?
I mean, it's a 5-star match for me all day long. Like I said, it's probably the best wrestling match I've ever seen in person.
And then he said, by the way, we need more Chucky O. Loved his insight and the topics covered when he was on. Love the show, guys. Yeah, we're going to have Chucky
Thanks,
O
man.
back. We'll have Chucky O back. Ibuka, NRR, evening crew and potential guest. I got a bit of an update on my jogging and a question, so here we go. Firstly, Bobby was right that I was goofy to fold to one lady complaining.
Yes.
I generally like to keep the peace, and some sacrifice is needed to keep the Jenga tower I call my life still standing, which is also why Peacemaker is my favorite character from Suicide Squad. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Anyways, after the tropical storms passed and the sidewalk stopped being a small river, I resumed getting my miles in.
Nice.
Love to hear
Good
it.
to hear it.
I took into account how I was presenting myself as per Bobby's suggestion, and that seemed fine. T-shirts, shorts, generally bright colors, and check my speed. A fast jog, but for sure not a run. That's all been sorted out and should be the end of that small disruption to my day-to-day. Thanks for the
hope so.
advice. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. You can it's as much your neighborhood as it is anybody else's, dude. And my question is, what is a time where you really worked your ass off for something and achieved that goal and the payoff also felt good? I recently have begun a major contract gig rather than my usual freelance work, and it feels pretty good in my career as properly started after a number of people thought I wouldn't amount to anything. Anyway, that's about it. Sorry for the long email. Thank you for your time. Dude, congratulations for one.
Yeah, man.
Dude, when you were just trying to make some money to feed your daughter, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I mean, mine was I had to take at a certain point in my life, I had to take this physical test, and long boring story as to why I had to take it, but I just had to take it, and I trained for it. I trained a lot for it.
Was there a montage?
There would have been. If I had a filming crew, they would have definitely made a montage out of it. But I trained my ass off for this fucking thing. Anyway, 3 days before the test, I had an appendectomy. And like I woke up in the middle of the night. My side had been bothering me. I kept telling Laura, but Laura was like, "Oh, your fucking side's bothering you, you fucking pussy." Like, that's just how she is. So like,
that's not what she sounds like. But
so one morning I woke up and she every time I was like, "Dude, my toe is killing me." She's like, "Oh, your toe turns out to be gout." You know what I mean? Like I'm like, but in her mind she was like, "Look, you're fucking training harder than you ever trained in your life. Like it's probably just some muscle shit, whatever."
Right.
But the thing is, you don't complain much about physical shit.
She'd probably disagree, but I agree with you.
Because like when I hear you complain about physical shit, I'm saying it must be serious because he doesn't like to complain about physical shit.
I don't really like to complain at all. But anyway, she said, I was like, "Look, this is going on." She was like, "You're fucking weak," and I was like, "Okay." And then it woke me up in the middle of the night, and I'm like sweating, and I'm like, "I don't feel good." And she was like, "It's your appendix. Get in the car." So got in the car, drove me to emergency room, had a emergency surgery right then and there. The little 3 holes of whatever the fuck they do. 3 little tiny punctures. It wasn't like a big wicked scar.
Yeah, they don't cut you wide open anymore.
Yeah. So took my appendix out, and then I was like, "Look, that's it for me. That's I'm not gonna be able to take this test. Like it's over for me, And she was like, "Nope, get up." And I mean, this is like hours after surgery, and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Get up." And I mean, it hurt like a motherfucker. And she had me up walking around the hospital, walking, got me home, had me walking, I went to go take this test. I popped 2 perks and fucking went to work. And
bars.
Popped 2 perks and went to work. Body booth.
Yeah. And that was probably the most rewarding feeling I've ever had. Like,
and you passed it.
Yeah. At the end of it, like I told the guy that was like my judge or whatever, I was like, "I just had my appendix removed 3 days ago," and he was like, "I know." And then he leaned in and he was like, "We all know." And it was like the perfect little cherry to that moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's mine for sure.
What do you got, Joe?
It's pharmacy school. It's either pharmacy school or getting this house. Because I worked fucking hard, bending over backwards to get this fucking house in like under 2 months or something. It was a few weeks. I was like, Laura's like, "This house is on sale." I'm like,
and then you worked hard to get like 8 years ahead in your mortgage too, so that was pretty good.
Yep. And now I'm good in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was a lot of work beforehand to have gotten to the point where I could just fucking buy this house. Yeah. It made it all worthwhile at the end. It's like, oh, I didn't fucking bust my ass for 2 years for no reason.
Get my CDL was one too for me. That like I was like, I thought I was gonna fail it. I'm not super mechanical like dude. And then the fucking proctor was a bitch. And that was she was fucking awful, dude.
What a horrible name for your job.
Proctor.
Where's Gamble?
Yeah.
Mine's career-wise, I mean, getting the job I have now was a highlight, for me. The path I took to get the job, I interviewed, got turned down. 2 months later, they called me, asked if I was still interested. Yeah, so it worked out great. But from a more personal level, I guess, what we did at Toy Fair 2019, building those 4 huge displays and the short amount of time and getting them there and set up and just all the response it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome feeling to be able to see that, good stuff.
Let's see what else we got. One from Nathan P. How's it going, Power Rangers? Hope you're all doing well.
There it is. There it fucking is.
Over the course of this week, it feels like it was packed with news and shit that was doubted to ever see the light of day has finally seen the light of day. Meaning, curious on what the crew thought about when Chris Pratt went to Italy and annihilated 90% of the Italian population in order to take the mantle of voicing Mario. So, I don't care. But like, it is like one of those things, right? Where there is like this, like, like my grandmother's Italian on my mother's side. Italian people are very proud and they're very distinctly Italian. Their culture precedes everything else. So like, I would imagine that like there's some upset within that community But I also would imagine that they don't give a shit because they don't even know who fucking Mario is at the same time.
So other than his name and like his given accent, like there's nothing much Italian about Mario, is there?
Well, there's a lot of if you think about it, it's kind of fucked up. Nobody.
He was inspired by Italian people.
The villains are Goombas. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about it. But like if it was like if it was not Italians, if it was some other, if it was like it would be cancel him, get him out of here. But like, oh, he's this Italian guy. He's a plumber. He falls down the pipe into this magical world where he has to kill Goombas.
You know, I heard the real outrage comes from the Koopas. They're pretty pissed about Jack Black as Bowser. Yeah, they're used to Dennis Hopper as Bowser, so
yeah,
it's a big swing.
He's not he's not a real turtle. But yeah, so it is crazy. But I mean, maybe he'll be great. I don't care about it, but like I do think that there is like there's a bit of a double standard with some of that shit.
Yes.
And like the same thing kind of goes for like Gal Gadot and like not that they're Amazonians, right? But I feel like most people would want Wonder Woman. She's definitely modeled after a Greek woman. You know?
Yeah, I mean. The whole Greek mythology is tied in
scary,
there.
Even
Zeus.
Yeah, exactly. He said, and I feel like the Defenders are eating good this week with the Fans Toys Fort Max going up for pre-order. So I was wondering if the Power Rangers had any thought. So it's just the head. It's Cerebros.
So Cerebros? No,
Cerebros.
That's a helmet. That's the
Cerebros.
That's two of them. Three of them.
Yeah,
I mean, the rest of it might not come.
So that's the thing. They're selling you the head for $225.
And that's expensive ass head.
I did the math on
you can get it for $60 at the block.
It's
if you tip the bartender.
So I did some math on it around this week. So I don't have it written. Actually, I do have it written down. Hang on. Yeah, quick math to compare the original size. Here it is. So the original height of Fort Max is 22 inches. The G1 toy.
Okay.
And Cerebros, which is the name, is 4.875 inches tall. The Fans Toy Cerebros is 9.5 inches tall. So using a factor of 4.513, you get a 3.5 foot tall fans. That's if they keep that same scale.
So I can tell you.
Tell us.
I'm privy to a little bit of information.
Oh, insider.
I can't talk too much.
Timestamp.
I will say this. I don't know if the actual Fort Max is ever going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I can also say this. It is 100% their goal. Mm. It's not like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll get this out and then we'll see. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, they're just going to do the head and then see if they can work some shit out for it later on. And it is a top of their priority to make, but it's like it's a lot of things that get involved, complicated, like shipping it,
how many pieces is this going to be?
Yeah, exactly. So there and like we all know that because of the way that they use die-cast and weight with their figures, that like there's stability issues. And
where's the Minotaur?
Where's Superion? Like and no, like that's the thing about it is like. I always get called the Defender. I mean, I made up that name for us, but I mean, like, when there wasn't a name for it, I was getting called something worse.
Sure, absolutely.
But like, I've also been the most vocal about why are we not focusing on these combiners? Mm-hmm. Why are we acting like things are okay with these combiners? They're obviously not fucking okay.
Yep.
But like nobody ever say like Bobby's over there championing for the people again, and he's not on Fans Toys payroll. It's okay.
And they shipped Omega in two
pieces, yeah. And I would imagine that they'll have to break this one up too, just for shipping. And I think just for shipping.
Yeah,
it may be you get arms. It may be a combiner package, literally the way they sell it.
How does Joe feel about Netflix showing off the opening of their 2013 fan film Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know how to feel yet. Like I'll have to watch it.
What did you think about the casting?
I mean, good enough. I have no complaints. I mean, I like them all. I'm not sure if they're the best, but I have no complaints, which is better than
having complaints.
I mean, hope for.
ScarJo's nowhere near this project, right?
Right.
Okay. Just check.
I mean, she would have been fine as Faye.
She's the queen of anime.
I mean, Faye has big tits and.
How do you feel about Black Widow and Shang-Chi coming out the same year, pitting those two Asian actors against one another?
Oh my God,
that's great.
Somebody sent me that.
That's great.
Yo.
He says, hope y'all are staying safe. Keep up the good work and podcasts on all content on all your respective platforms. Take care.
Thank you.
KFC. What's up, Power Rangers? So quick comment off of last week's discussion of movie trailers. I love to go back and watch the trailers after I watch the movie to see how misleading the trailer is. I do that sometimes too. Yep. He says, RIP to SCU, which is true from my understanding. And
when
last Friday, I believe, was their last episode.
This past Friday, like
yes.
4 days ago, whatever.
Yes, and they are starting a new one called All Hail Unicron.
That means Enters the Realm is the oldest show.
It's true.
Active show on the cool table.
That's true.
On the cool table,
show, yeah.
but does anybody from Radio Free Cybertron listen to the cool to
I don't know.
because they're the oldest podcast
Yeah.
ever
Yeah,
apparently.
that had nothing to do with that.
I have a wrestling question for Pinkerton.
Brother.
So hopefully he is over his beef with Joe. If he isn't, you can stop reading now.
I've just been trying to talk.
We have a working relationship, okay?
I've been trying to talk Joe into getting in the wrestling business, but
Like those dad jokes just went too far.
I'm looking for his feelings on the competition between WWE and AEW. With the Wednesday Night Wars started, I don't believe WWE considered AEW as competition. Obviously, on the flip side, I think AEW considers WWE competition as they are starting the new company. Now, with AEW airing their man show and WWE airing their developmental show, is that considered competition? Dynamite is beating Raw in ratings, and the argument I see is that it isn't head-to-head. Do you think Dynamite could go head-to-head with Raw on Mondays, or if they even should? With you having a wrestling company back in the day, wanted your wrestling answer. And then he just wrote AEW and WWE 30,000 more times in the email. I was choosing not to read that part.
nice. So, I will tell you, since AEW stopped having competition on Wednesday. So just to clarify something in there, AEW's main program is Dynamite on Wednesday nights. WWE, when they announced that show, counter-programmed NXT, which is their developmental show, technically, at the exact same time. So it was head-to-head. And the ratings were normally split pretty evenly between the two. Well, WWE finally gave up and moved their NXT show to Tuesday, which is fine with me because they get wrestling almost every night. The only thing they've beat in that they beat the Raw ratings in the 18 to 45 demo one time. That's the money shot for advertisers.
Yeah,
that's the people you want to get
spend money.
Of. I'm only got one more year in the demo, boys. I don't know what happens then. I have to start checking 46 to 55 on that form.
I mean, it was crazy when I saw it, when like you move from an age bracket.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
I do not think they could. I don't think they can go head to head with them. I'll say, I enjoy watching wrestling in any form, and this is the answer I give to anybody who has this. It's competition because WWE has increased the quality of their product tenfold in the past since live crowds started back, and maybe they were just sandbagging for performing in front of a bunch of monitors or in front of nobody like they were. But AEW didn't AEW built a company during the pandemic, essentially. Mm-hmm. WWE had record sales, but their product was awful.
I mean, that's a good time to build something when the other guy's on hiatus or the other guy's down.
Many fortunes have been made in a troubling time. Right,
it's fair.
I've said it on here: rising tides raise all ships, and I think
roll tide. That's your people, right?
Rolling tides sink all ships.
Yeah. I don't think they could go head to head on because if you look at the rating that Monday Night Raw pulls against Monday Night Football, right? There's nothing sports really going on heavy on Wednesdays. I mean, yeah, there's a whatever NBA game of the week and a hockey game, whatever, but it's Monday Night Football. That's a big deal to people who watch football.
Yeah. It's a big deal to people who don't. Like, I know what it is.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm sure people at work, oh man, did you see the game last night? Mm-hmm. And if you work on Tuesdays or whatever. So the rating they're pulling against Monday Night Football is pretty incredible. And AEW is pulling. I mean, they're the highest rated cable show the night that they put it on, but they're not. The brand, the name recognition isn't there. And then something at the beginning of the year, they're moving from TNT to TBS, which will be confusing to a lot of simple-minded people.
Yeah,
where's the wrestling, honey? The wrestling ain't on.
First the barbershops and now this.
Golly. So that'll be interesting to see how they do on a different network. But
Yeah.
hopefully that someone answered the question.
Speaking of the age thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like I recently, I don't know why, have noticed, because watching trailers or game trailers, whatever, a lot of times it's mature now, and you have to put in your date of birth. I'm starting to feel a way now about how far back I have to scroll on the year fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in the day, it was just like, oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
oh shit,
It's like, yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah.
So you're
Towards the end of the list there.
Me too.
I always wondered, who are these people that have to go back to the 60s? I'm like, oh, no, I'm that person that has to go back to the 70s.
Yeah. Our last one isn't a question as so much just a write-in. Said that he's been watching Skullface since 2015. It's definitely been a journey. This is from Kevin I. Long story short, I went from nearly being homeless in 2016 to moving 2,500 miles across the country and getting my shit together.
Nice.
I went to school, I got a job, and over the last year, I lost 90 pounds.
Good for you,
Congratulations,
man. That's awesome.
bro. That's all great.
I just bought a Camaro tonight, not in cash, I ain't there yet, which has been my dream car since I was 7. And I saw Bumblebee on the silver screen. Through the years that I've watched you, I've picked up a lot of solid advice. Thanks for everything so far. And then he sent a picture of him in his Camaro.
Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome, bro.
That's awesome.
It is
That's
awesome.
fucking great.
And congratulations. However, I got one more piece of advice for you. Get rid of them jorts. And then-
Hey, listen, don't listen to this guy.
Don't listen to him about fashion.
This guy is wearing, hold on, let me look. Yeah, he's wearing them Brooks Beasts.
It's my home shoes, man.
He's wearing,
It's my house slippers.
he's
There's a
wearing
Rogers indoor.
black cargo shorts and a black hoodie. So, you know.
Which is pretty much my uniform.
I think,
Well, it'll turn to jeans here in a week, I'm sure. It was crisp. It was crisp today.
Yeah, it was. It was a little crisper. It was nice.
Ladies dressed as Han Solo season.
Yeah.
That's right. Get your pumpkin spice lattes, your boots, and your vests. Let's roll.
Yeah. It's funny. Just thinking about that, like like the white girl season or whatever. Jana was at school yesterday, and then we'll get out of here. But she was at school, and they said something to her of like that's something like, "Oh, that's so white girl of you." This was a young lady. She's I think she's like a half Hispanic. So she was like, you'll probably be a mean old woman, just like all white women when you get older. She said that, and we were debating on how to give her advice to handle those situations should they arise again. And I was proud of my mature answer that I gave her. I said I would tell her that I don't think kindness is race specific.
Wow.
And
good.
leave it at that.
Pretty good.
TFCon is coming up. I will be there.
I'll be there, but only after 12 because I didn't buy a weekend pass, and you can't get in the dealer until 12. So I'll make somebody line up to buy me all the exclusives.
I've been there, done that.
Oh wait, just kidding. Sorry.
I'll be there. I have a table there. Please stop by.
Buy blankets
Yeah,
and a photo.
yeah, that headmaster one.
The blankets are
and-
great.
and
I
listen-
have 2 of them. I use them.
I mean, I'm particular. Like, I'm funny about my shit. Like, I don't really. But like, I even had the apes one as a blanket in my. You know what I mean? Because I love it so much.
And listen, Bobby loves just little tchotchkes of pop culture.
Nope.
So please
Nope,
bring him
dude, don't buy-
like,
don't.
any sort of Funko Pop or
Nope.
anything.
Nope. If you want to bring me something, bring me some sort of coupon to whatever eating establishment is around.
yeah, if you bring him something, he might just put it directly on the table for sale, like that fucking one monkey from Robert D.
Robert D bought me that King Kong for fucking $40 or $25, and I sold it 10 minutes later for $5.
Yeah. And hey, speaking of, I said this on End of the Realm a couple weeks ago, but the ROC is not doing. We're not doing a party per se this year. We didn't do a rock box or anything. We fucked around and haven't done a T-shirt, so I guess at this point we probably won't. But we'll still be there, to hang out with everybody. And there's just too many variables to try to nail down.
There will be a video shoot Saturday night.
Oh, there's a video shoot Saturday night.
There will be a video shoot Saturday night.
Have you paid for the armed guards?
No. We'll do it somewhere downtown. It'd be fine.
Not going up the street.
No, we're not going up the street.
2 streets up. You can go up to 2 streets up.
Saratoga. Just, you know what I mean?
You get some of those window wash kids to be in the video?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if they'd be down. Those are the same kids that probably called me Bill Burr the other year.
That's probably right.
But yeah, the song is written.
No, you recorded it.
No.
You didn't record it? I
No,
thought you
That
went
was last year.
No, not recorded yet. I got to. I did talk to E Black.
Okay. Because I saw you posted.
Yeah. Talked to him, and you know, he was like, I guess it's that time of year again.
You should have sent him like the little waving emoji.
He's like the last minute text 1 year ago.
But I probably, I mean, I had to have it done before TFCon. So within the next couple of weeks, and Halloween party's coming up. There's a lot of
yeah, I got a lot of hanging chads on that. I got to get square up still.
My October is going to fly by. It's going to fly by. So with that, shout out to Rest of the Cool Table if you listen to this and you make a podcast or don't. As far as I'm concerned, you're at the Cool Table as well.
Still? How many years? How many years has it been? 2 years?
Long time.
And shout out to Raul on our Instagram, Phil on our notes and on Twitter, Dante on Facebook. Shout out to everybody that's been coming by recently, as everybody's had, especially all of us, but mainly you and you have had complicated schedules.
Well, listen.
So shout out to Evan, shout out to Casey, shout out to Chucky O, who've been able to come through and lend their couple hours to the show. We do appreciate it. Did you have something to do? We try to make this shit happen. Our schedules are all fucked up. As soon as we started doing well, this is just my lot in life also. It's just like the roller coaster that I crashed a couple weeks ago. As soon as it starts to go, then like 1 week Joe can't do it, next week Chris can't do it, then we can all get together, and then Joe, and then so.
I mean, hats off to you for pulling a show together every week, though. Like, it's not on our part. We show up when we can, and when we can't, like, I don't help you find somebody.
The good news is I only know of one instance the rest of the year where I won't be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just this 1 week. I got another fishing trip with work I want.
No shit.
Yeah, so that's be.
Where to this
week
time?
of my birthday, actually. Key West.
Oh, wow.
I've never been down there before, so I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got another month of clinic.
We'll sort it.
So with that,
Flappy Libius.
Chase, D-Tank.
tight dick player.